Hey guys, welcome in. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Hope you're having a great Thursday. Thanks for spending it with us. 3 hours. Oh my gosh, we got so much stuff to get to today. The state has certified Greg Ballard. Man, there are some Republican lawmakers and their underlings and their hangers-on. They look like complete idiots today. All that huffing and puffing that Ballard was going to make it. And he made it with about 3,500 votes signatures to spare. We'll talk about that. James Briggs from the IndyStar is going to be with us here in a little bit. You know, he had that column yesterday where he just ripped Hogsett for vetoing that massive wheel tax. And we've talked about whether you live in Indianapolis or not. This is a conversation you need to be paying attention to because local governments everywhere are going to start looking at doing this, and if it succeeds in Indianapolis, it will expedite local communities going to do this. And so Hogsett vetoes this massive wheel tax. Briggs writes this column yesterday about what a bad guy Hogsett is for doing it. I said, this is fascinating. We have to have a conversation. So James Briggs will be with us. We're going to talk about the wheel tax. We're going to talk about road funding. We're going to talk about the issues with the State House. That's coming up here in just a little bit. We've got so much stuff to get to, but we start with a little progress. A little bit of progress happened yesterday in our government. Now, is it full progress? No. But when we're talking about Washington, D.C., any progress is kind of good. And so from CNN, yesterday, the House passed a bill to add new restrictions to lawmakers' ability to trade stocks. Finally, something. Now, this is not an outright ban, which it should be. If you go to Washington, if you are elected to serve in the United States Congress or as president of the United States, you should have zero ability to trade stocks. If you want to trade stocks, go be a stock trader. If you want to be a congressman, be a congressman. You want to be a senator, be a senator. You should not be able to use your ability as an elected official to make money. And that is what is happening over and over and over again in this country, is that lawmakers who make rules and regulations around industries get insider information, get advanced knowledge, know what the long-term effects of the laws are going to be before anybody else does, and they trade their stocks accordingly. That's ridiculous. That's insider trading. If you or I did this, we would be in huge trouble. These people in Washington do it, and nothing happens to them because they write the laws that allow themselves to do it. It is why people so covet those positions in Washington. One's the power, but also the ability to legally make money in a way that other people cannot. It's how so many people go in, regular people, and come out millionaires. I mean, if you know, hey, we're going to do A, B, or C with the Congress, and it's going to have an effect on these industries, either negative or positive, and you know, hey, that's 2, 3, 4 months down the road, you have information that other people don't have. You can buy and sell accordingly. And we have seen time and again so many of these reports where these Congress people, including our own, remember the stuff that came out on Jefferson Shreve not that long ago, are able to make plays that could potentially and do over time make them a lot of money. The bill passed 232 to 198. Now, this is what's interesting. Only 13 Democrats joined with the Republicans in supporting the bill. Now, I'll tell you what this bill does here in just a moment. It's not a complete bill. It's not an all-out ban, which is what needs to take place. However, it's something. It's something better than what's in play now. And only 13 Democrats were like, hey, I'll vote for a better system. The measure, according to CNN, prevents lawmakers, their spouses, and dependent children from buying new stocks of publicly traded companies while serving in Congress, under the legislation, lawmakers can still buy private stocks. So stocks that are not publicly traded on the exchange, keep stocks they already owned prior to entering Congress, and maintain certain investment funds. Selling stocks would require a 7 to 14-day advance notice. If the new rules are violated, the lawmakers would pay a fee of $2,000 or 10% of the value of the transaction, whichever is greater, and forfeit the profit from the trade. Now, the full ban is what needs to happen. You go into Washington, you have these stocks. If they make a gajillion dollars while you're there, good on you. Great. But if you lose, sorry about you. If you don't want to take that risk, don't go serve in Washington. There's plenty of people who will do that. What you go in with is what you come out with. If those industries do well, congratulations. But at least everybody knows going in what you own stock in. We know going in who you've got a propensity to be favorable to, and we can judge that accordingly. There's too many of these guys and girls doing this, and it's too hard to keep track. That's what needs to happen. All-out ban. And this isn't that. There's these private stocks, et cetera, that can still be purchased. But at least it's something. Now, most Democrats opposed the measure. They claim they opposed it because it didn't go far enough, which is what I'm talking about here, which is the all-out ban. However, the real reason they didn't vote for it, well, one, I think a bunch of them probably didn't want any sort of ban. But two, the Republicans tied restrictions related to mail-in voting to the bill. Now, Thomas Massey tweeted, Facebooked, whatever about this yesterday, and he was very critical of the Republicans tying the voter restrictions, the mail-in voting restrictions to the bill. Because what's going to happen is potentially you're going to give people cover in the Senate to not vote for it. It's going to go over to the Senate, and you're going to see a bunch of Democrat senators who are going to say, well, I would vote for the restrictions, but I'm not going to disenfranchise people to do it. I'm not going to be held hostage. And there's a lot of people like Massey who appear to think the Republicans tied this to that, so it will fail. Because if you just wanted the ban, do them separate. If you want to ban this insider trading stuff, or at least restrict it, pass the bill clean and then send it over to the Senate. Because right now, I don't think it's going to pass the Senate. Quote, House Republicans are pushing a voter suppression bill that'll upend mail-in voting and throw the elections into chaos, and are trying to trick members into supporting it by linking it to a partial stock trading ban that falls short of the full congressional stock trading ban that the American people want. It's a Democratic Representative Seth Magaziner, M-A-G-A-Z-I-N-R, who co-led a bipartisan bill to ban stock trading that is stalled. Exactly right. There you go. The Democrats now, especially in the Senate, are going to use this and say, hey, I'm for the restrictions. I'm for the ban, but I am not going along with restricting people's ability to vote. They're giving them the out. And it appears to me the only reason you would do that is by design if you want the bill to fail. It's a great poison pill to put in the bill. Now, this pains me to do, but he's right. We got to give credit where credit is due. One of the leaders on this has been Todd Young. A lot of issues with Todd Young, but he has been one of the most vocal proponents of the all-out ban on stock trading. And he spoke about this yesterday. Here is Todd Young on stock bans.
We can prevent its members from using their positions of public trust to enrich themselves, to enrich their families, by banning stock trading among members of Congress. You see, as lawmakers, Mr. President, we write and pass bills that significantly impact the market. We do it on a daily basis. We sit on committees of jurisdiction that oversee entire sectors of America's economy. We have access to briefings and updates on a regular basis that provide non-public market information. There's little to prohibit members of Congress from using such privileged information to guide their personal selection of stocks.
He's 100% right. If that happened in the private sector, you'd have people go to prison. What these people do every single day in the Congress, if you or I did it, we go to prison. And they do it freely without any concern whatsoever. Now, in the spirit of saying nice things about people we don't usually say nice things about, it wasn't just Todd Young that came out for this. Our old pal, professional office hopper Aaron Houchin, U.S. representative from Southeast Indiana, she spoke, I believe this was 2 days ago before the bill passed. She spoke in support of the bill. Here is what Aaron Houchin had to say.
It also will ban members of Congress and their families from purchasing individual stocks. I think that's critically important because just because members of Congress might be banned, their family members may also yet currently be able to trade on information that may be accessible to members of Congress. And the advance notice on selling those investments, I think, is an important step to increase transparency and restore public trust. I think this is a must-do. I hope we'll get this bill through across the finish line. Again, Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you for your tremendous leadership on this issue. The American people deserve confidence that the decisions that we make are guided by what's best for them, not what benefits personal investment portfolios.
The American people have zero confidence, as in none, that the decisions members of Congress are making are guided by anything but what's best for themselves. Either their reelection or their pocketbook. And the Congress right now is once again proving why that is. This is a very simple thing. You put a ban up. It's an all-out ban. You don't want to do it. You don't serve in Washington. You vote on it. We find out where people are. Don't gum it up with voting restrictions or anything else. If you actually want to put people on the spot, no half-baked stuff. I mean, again, this is a little better than what we had before, yes. But it's not what it should be. And it's not going to be anything because they're tying these voting restrictions to it, which the Democrats in the Senate are never going to go along with. Because I think deep down, a lot of these politicians don't want this thing to pass. They want to say, well, look, I voted for it. And those no good, rotten so-and-sos in the Senate. Oh, it's always the Senate, isn't it? They don't want any accountability associated. They don't want this to pass, and now they can deny accountability in it not passing. Under the current law, lawmakers, their spouses, and children are permitted to make trades, but they are mandated to report any activity done on their behalf within 45 days. Hey, I did it. I screwed everyone. Hey, I did it. If you did it, you go to prison, but I got 45 days to tell you I did it. That's disgusting. They are only required to disclose the monetary value range for trades. Oh, my gosh. These people are just disgusting beyond words. Oh, all right. There's some new polling out on Donald Trump. And once again, it is very much in line with what we have seen from other polling, which is Trump is really, really struggling to connect anywhere with the American people. A new poll out, I believe this was American Research who did this poll. Total of 30% of Americans say they approve of the way Trump is handling his job as president, compared to 67% who say they disapprove. That's more than 2-to-1 disagree with how Trump is handling his job. Yeah, American Research Group was the pollster. That's a known firm. It is almost identical to what we saw in June. So there really has been no change that for multiple months now, by more than 2-to-1, people are disapproving of the job Trump is doing. When it comes to Trump's handling of the economy, 28%, just 28% of Americans approve, 70% disapprove. You guys know this, the economy is normally the number one gauge on how people vote. Not always, a lot of the time. The economy is the number one gauge on how people vote. And in this case, he's 42% underwater. It is, again, nearly identical to the way people saw it in June at a 70% disapproval rating back in June. So we're not moving. I mean, and statistically, it's hard to get much worse for any president, whether it's Trump or Biden or whoever. It's hard to get much worse than the number of the approval where he's at, because it's 30%. That's your base. He's basically lost everyone but his base. Now, here's the real damaging piece of data. Now, the one shining optimistic light for the Republicans, and we'll get into this here in a little bit later on in the program, the Democrats aren't capitalizing on this. Everybody hates everyone. The Democrats are viewed almost as unfavorably as the Republicans. Now, there's some new polling out that's not good for the Republicans, but some people think it's an outlier, and we'll get into it later. But that's the saving grace for the Republicans. As bad as they've been, the Democrats offer no viable alternative. But here's the one really damaging piece, the most damaging piece of data for Trump. It's all damaging, but the most damaging. According to American Research Group, of the 30% of Americans saying they approve of the way Trump is handling his job as president, 14%, just 14%, say they expect the economy will be better a year from now. That's among people who approve of the job Trump is doing. There is no optimism. And optimism or passion, enthusiasm, is a huge part of voting. This year's going to be fascinating because there's no enthusiasm for anyone. You know, you think about usually one side, the opposition or the people in power, depending on how it's going, they have the enthusiasm. It was obvious in 2024, Trump had the enthusiasm. It was obvious in 2020, not enthusiasm for Biden, but anti-Trump sentiment had the enthusiasm. It was obvious in 2016, Trump had the enthusiasm over Hillary. It was obvious both times with Obama, certainly the first time, he had the enthusiasm. I don't see any of that on any side. And for only 14% of the people who say they like you to be optimistic about the future, that's not good, because they may vote for you, but not enthusiastically. 61% say they expect the national economy will be worse a year from now. That is normally a death sentence politically for the party in power. Again, the only thing saving the Republicans right now is that the Democrats are offering nothing, and they are largely viewed just as unfavorable or almost as unfavorable as Trump and the Republicans. In February of 2025, according to American Research Group, among the 43% then saying they approve of the way Trump was handling his job, 46% said they expected the national economy to be better in a year. And only 30% said they expected it to be worse. So, I mean, huge swings against Trump. First of all, he had a 46% approval rating a year and a half ago. Now it's 30. And among the people that approved of him, 46% said they expected the economy to be better, only 30% worse. Fast forward that to today, 14% say better, 61% say worse. It's all flipped. It's all flipped. Of the 67% saying they disapprove of the way Trump is handling his job as president in the current survey, 5% say they expect the situation in their households will be better a year from now. 75% say they think it'll be worse. When you lose optimism, it's just like any facet of your life, right? What's the driving force for many people to get up and do the thing every day. I mean, obviously there's things to love of family and support your family and do stuff for your wife or your husband and your kids and that stuff. But a huge part of it is when you're performing at your best, you're optimistic that something good is going to come from it. When you don't have any hope of a promotion or an advancement or a raise, are you motivated to go to work every day? I mean, outside of, again, the basics of I'm doing this to provide, no. But if you're like, hey, there's a potential promotion on the horizon, or I might get this cool job, like maybe you're in a position where like 20 random ass people have been thrown into a position and you don't know who's going to get it, but you're one of them. Maybe you're like, hey, I could get this job. If you knew there was no chance you were going to get the job and they were just running you, playing out the string, would you be optimistic about going to work every day? The answer is hell no. You're optimistic because there's hope, even if it's like 1% hope. Here, for these people, there's no hope. And those numbers are crushing for Trump. If you've been in a company for years and you want to move up to be a manager, I've been the Oreo stocker at the Walmart for 9 years, 10 years, and there's a middle management position open. Man, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to bust my ass every day and show those guys what I can do. In hopes you're going to get the position. If you don't get the position, aren't you like, I got to go somewhere else? I'm just destined to be an Oreo stocker. Hope in any position, any circumstance, is a driver for people to continue. And in this case, the continue would be the party in power. If you don't have any hope or optimism, it's hard to see, no matter how unpopular the opposition party is, that you would vote for that person. Unless, obviously there are partisan people, but I'm saying the sort of the decider group. There's like 30% this way or 35% this way, 35% this way, and then the people in the middle. It's hard to see how the non-politically ideological people who have voted for Biden and they voted for Trump and they voted for Trump the first time, but they also might have voted for Obama. I mean, these people are out there, right? They're a huge portion of our electorate. It doesn't have to make sense. It's just the way it is. It's hard to see how those people go for Trump again. Trump is clearly a drag. The question is he big enough drag because the Democrats are their own drag to take down the Republicans? Bill O'Reilly said something interesting yesterday. Now, I got to be candid with you. Since O'Reilly left Fox, I have not kept a lot of track of him. I have not kept track of him. Great grammar, Rob. But he's got a podcast, obviously still writing books, and I had not seen him in several years. And he looks a little rough. He sounds a little rough. But I was watching this podcast that he does yesterday, and he said something very interesting that I'm not sure he's wrong about. It sounds weird to hear, but then when you think it through, you actually go, he probably has some merit to it. And he basically said Trump needs to disappear for a month. He said the best thing Trump could do is to disappear for a month. Let's play what O'Reilly had to say, and then we'll talk about it, because I think he's on to something here. Take a listen.
So my advice to Donald Trump is to take the next month off if you can. Get into an environment where you like golf and relax a little bit. You got to deal with Iran. I understand that. Everybody understands it. But you can do that on the phone, and you can do that with your people coming, but need a breather. I need a breather, and I'm going to build it into August, but he needs a breather much more than I do.
It sounds weird to say the president needs to disappear, right? And he's not saying, I guess, in the sense of the nuts and bolts of the day-to-day of the position, making key choices. But Trump is just too everywhere all the time. There's an old saying, how can I miss you if you won't go away? And Trump, unlike any other president, and it was true in his first term and this happened, and it's happening again, is too in everyone's face all the time. People need a breather from any person. You need to get away from people. And in the case of Trump, he insists in being the center of attention at all times. And it wears people out. You know, a little bit of Trump in small doses is awesome. Because a little bit of Trump is a whole lot of everyone else. But when you see it every day and it gets thrown in your face every day and it's the bravado and the ego and the country's not doing well, which it's struggling right now, that pisses people off. I don't like what you're doing. I don't like how you're doing it. And now you're forcing me to see you even more. Whereas if you go away for a month and then you have the gear up for the election, people might miss you a little bit. It's just like relationships. Yeah, you dated that person for a while, you know, year, whatever. Things getting old, stale. You break up. You don't see the person for a month, 2 months. You're like, kind of miss them. You don't remember all the reasons you're like, I got to get this person out of my life. But you kind of miss them. And then you say, hey, maybe it wasn't so bad. Trump's got to do that. I think there's a lot of merit to what O'Reilly said. Now, speaking of Trump always being in everybody's face, we'll follow it up with this. He was in Georgia last night campaigning. There's the Senate race there, Ossoff, the senator, Democrat senator, and they want to unseat him. And so Trump was there campaigning for a host of candidates. And one of the things that's becoming abundantly clear, and the Democrats are handing this to the Republicans, is because they keep nominating and embracing these lunatic socialist people, they are giving the Republicans the opportunity to campaign not on issues, but on ideas. Not on Republican governance, because they can't, because it's been a disaster, but on the idea of the fear of what is to come if you put the Democrats in there. The Democrats are handing this card to the Republicans. Again, we call it snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. And you are starting to see this, that over and over and over again, the talking points from Republicans are becoming about communism, about these lunatics, about these Democrat socialists, and it's fair game for them. It's a good ploy if you're a Republican because you don't have anything to run on with the record. But the idea of what's to come, hey, you may not like me. It's what the Republicans have done in Indiana for years. Oh, you may not like us, but look at that. You don't want that, do you? And here is Trump talking about the threat of communism. And he spent a lot of time on this, which means that is going to be a talking point this year, a big one. Take a listen.
The radical left is actively trying to destroy our children's future with the disaster known as communism. It's communism. This isn't a social democrat. These are communists by another name, right? As I said in my recent address at Mount Rushmore recently, I don't know if anybody saw it, such a beautiful place. You know, the communists want to take it down. They try taking Mount Rushmore down. They want to blow it up. They want to take it down. They shouldn't be up there. These people are crazy. But communism is, in my opinion, communism is the single greatest threat to our country and its history, including even World War I and World War II, Pearl Harbor, 9/11. I think it's the greatest threat that I've ever seen to our country. These people are stone cold crazy. And it is the enemy of the free people everywhere and everywhere in the world. You see it happening, and every time it starts to happen, the areas where it's at, whether it's blue states, you see the blue states are all going bad. They're all going bad because communism is a loser. The concept, the policy, it's a loser, and it always has been, and it always will be.
Well, I really appreciate how nice you are, and you're terrific. I wish I could have every interview just like this. Okay, that would be a great dream. But you know what's happening. I mean, you understand it, you get it. You're not doing it because you like me or you dislike me. You see what's happening in the world, and you see what's happening with our country, and so many bad things are happening. Our jobs are being taken away. Our military is so becoming weaker and weaker by the day, and we're going to turn it all around.
How'd that sneak in there? How did that sneak in there? Oh, that wasn't from the speech the other night. That was his interview with me. Who threw that in there? Who handles this audio? The actual first part of it was, of course, from Georgia. But isn't it amazing? I actually did that because it's like the stuff never really changes. It's just the same thing over and over and over again. I do the audio. But I mean, it's clear. The Republicans can't run on the record. Everybody's mad, and it's going to be interesting to see if this works because they don't really have another option. Now, they tried this, if you remember, with Obama the first time because of the end of the Bush stuff was so bad. It didn't work. I don't know. Anti usually doesn't work. People want to be for something. The problem for the Democrats is, unlike in the days of Obama, he gave people the not naive, maybe? I don't know if naive is the right word. Wishful people, something to be hopeful about. The Democrats aren't doing any of that. So it didn't work with Obama. I think you got a better chance of it working here, but I don't know. Some guy who does get it, though, is James Carville. You guys remember James Carville? He was the former, kind of head advisor to Bill Clinton. And he was the guy who coined the phrase, "It's the economy, stupid." He gets that the Democrats are on the verge of throwing away an easy win. And not just winning, but the Democrats this should be a huge year for the Democrats. And he gets that the Democrats are on the verge of throwing away an easy win because they keep nominating and putting forward and talking glowingly about these complete crazy people. And so he got asked about this, and he went off on the Democrat socialists. This is hilarious. Take a listen.
And these people are paternalistic, and it's a bunch of overeducated little white turds who think they know more than other people know, and they know what's wrong. And they're going to go and then you got, they're talking about indicting Netanyahu. And that the problem is you have a candidate, a DSA candidate in New York saying we should be against interracial dating. Let me tell you something. These people, and these are to all my black friends and people like me, they think they know more than you do. They think their history is more glorious than yours. They think that Lenin was a more glorious human being than Martin Luther King or Frederick Douglass. That's what they really think. And if you know that, you don't know your history. And you should view these people with extreme skepticism because they think they know what's better for you than you know what's better for you. And they think they know your history better than you know their history. This ass don't know what he's talking about.
That's great. That's awesome. And that's coming from a Democrat's Democrat right there. He's absolutely right. These people are insane. They think they're smarter than everyone, and they are about absolute takeover, and he gets it. He recognizes that the Democrats are going to be, one, he recognizes the party's going to be taken over by these nutbags. And then two, he recognizes that they're going to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory because if they don't get the House and the Senate, it's all for naught. And if they've got razor-thin margins, they're going to run into this in the House, especially they're going to run the same thing the Republicans have run into, which can't get anything done. And he gets it. That's why he said it. He's spot on. All right, housekeeping items. And then we'll get to the interview with James Briggs about Hogsett, because I think you guys are going to be I was blown away by that column yesterday where he's basically like, Hogsett's a bad guy for not raising taxes by hundreds of millions of dollars. I was like, this puts me in a bad position. I have to defend Hogsett. Fascinating conversation coming up with James Briggs from the Star. First of all, though, Anthony Gary, he is the owner of IndyDwell Real Estate. And he doesn't just list homes for sale. He gets them noticed, shown, and sold without using sleeper sanity. You guys saw the effort he put in to that referendum stuff the other day. Now imagine putting that sort of intensity, that sort of dedication to work for you. Anthony's trained with some of the top negotiators on earth and is ready to help you achieve your real estate goals. Put Anthony's expert selling strategy and experience to work for you. Guy, figure out that stuff with those referendums, selling your home. Could be a piece of cake. Call or text Anthony Gary, IndyDwell Real Estate, 317-756-1159, 317-756-1159. He said even, hey, you want to know what your referendum might cost you in your community? If you're one of these many communities, give him a text, give him a call, 317-756-1159. Guys, if you haven't done so yet, help us out. You know, we ask you to do this every day, and there's a reason to it. It helps us grow the program. Like, share, and subscribe. Number one, hit that thumbs up button. Really helps us out. Number two, if you haven't done so yet, share our feed out. Facebook, Twitter, whatever you got. And third, and maybe most important of all, whatever platform you're on, whether you're watching us live on the YouTube or on demand on YouTube or on demand on Apple, Spotify, all the places, subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe. That's how we grow the Rob Kendall Show. We can't do it without you. Also, thanks to our pal, C. Mills, wing connoisseur extraordinaire of the Rob Kendall Show. I know he was at Double D's just last night for the wing night, the potato salad. He said they had a batch of potato salad ready to go for C. Mills. He donated yesterday, or hit the support button yesterday, robkendallshow.com. Big support button up there. If you like what we do, want to throw a few coins our way, we certainly appreciate it. Support button at robkendallshow.com. Last but certainly not least, then we'll get to our interview with James Briggs. John Rust having that big bash Saturday, October the 3rd at his place, his palatial estate in Seymour. Big old party for you, the fabulous fans of the Rob Kendall Show. Celebration of America's 250th birthday. Antique car show, patriotic music, lunch catered by Double D's, birthday cake because it's Jason's birthday. I'm going to give a speech about how great the country is. You guys know we've been talking about it for several weeks now. Great attendance already. All you got to do, totally free to attend, just RSVP. rustforamerica@gmail.com. rustforamerica@gmail.com. Just tell him, here's my name, here's what I'm bringing with me. Bam, you're on the list, and it's going to be a great, hopefully sunny, fun fall afternoon, Saturday, October 3rd. Event starts at noon at John Rust Estate. rustforamerica@gmail.com. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, a great debate with James Briggs of the IndyStar. And wherever you live, you need to pay attention to this one because these wheel taxes are coming for you soon enough. Is Hogsett a villain or a hero for vetoing hundreds of millions of dollars of tax increases? I got to take the side of Hogsett. Oh, well, how's this going to go? We'll find out when we come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
I'm Anthony Gary. I started IndyDwell Real Estate because too many friends, family members, and neighbors had real estate experiences that lacked compassion, explanation, and expertise. You deserve someone in your corner with the heart of a teacher, simplifying every step of the buying or selling process. When you hire me, you get me. Start to finish, you'll never be handed off. No stress, no surprises, just the expert guidance and results you deserve. Anthony Gary, IndyDwell Real Estate. Call or text 317-756-1159. 317-756-1159.
Did you know Honeysuckle Hill in Brazil offers more than just a fabulous made-from-scratch meal at the bistro? It also has an adjoining cottage, great for a perfect, relaxing weekend away with a scenic waterfront view. The cottage offers 3 bedrooms, 2 baths with spa-like tile showers, full kitchen, living room with fireplace, laundry facilities, and a full deck overlooking the lake. And Andy, one of the owners, delivers breakfast in a picnic basket at 8:30 each morning. Plan the perfect weekend away at the scenic Honeysuckle Hill property on the water in beautiful Brazil. Book today by visiting their website at honeysucklehillb.com.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Yesterday on the program, I read you that article by James Briggs in the IndyStar about like Hogsett is kind of a bad guy for vetoing the tax increase. And I said, we got to have Briggs on because I'm fascinated by this. IndyStar columnist extraordinaire James Briggs joins us now. Hello.
Hello.
All right. I'm loath to defend Hogsett on anything, but I feel like anytime you can save the folks a few bucks, there's some nobility in that. You, however, said it's unmayoral that he's vetoing the tax increase. This is the wheel tax. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I know we're probably going to disagree on issues of taxation here.
I hate that I have to defend Hogsett on anything.
And all the Republicans on the council are with Hogsett on this one. I guess for a little bit of background here. So the mayor, when he first ran for mayor a long time ago, back in 2015, his thing was, I will never raise taxes.
Right.
That was a campaign promise. He stuck to it all along. He's repeatedly said he'll never raise taxes. The conversation has come up over and over and over again. Like, how is Indianapolis going to pay for streets? He's always said it's not going to be through higher taxes.
Isn't that good that, like, we always, I mean, sure, the guy got beat up by his trash can, allegedly, and he disappeared during the riots and all the other stuff. But isn't it good, like, a politician, at least on this thing, he held to his word? Like, isn't that what we should expect? He campaigned on it. He did it. Don't we give him some credit for that?
I do think, yes, I will give him some credit for that, okay? But one thing where I think we can agree is that the state legislature created a system now where municipalities, they've basically incentivized municipalities to raise taxes.
Totally.
That was the point, right? That's what the state legislature, they didn't want to deal with this, and so they created this system now where cities like Indianapolis, but across the state, have to consider this same thing that Indianapolis has taken up right now. So the legislature created this. Now, to the extent that Hogsett has wanted for a decade now to say no new taxes, well, he's had a decade to negotiate with the legislature to do something different, to figure something else out.
Do they, the city and the state government, do they like him over there? Do they not like him over there? Do you have a feel for how they deal with him?
They don't like him. And it's curious to me for a few reasons. One, and I've written this before, he's like kind of a Republican. He's governed with a small c conservative philosophy in Indianapolis. I mean, especially from a budget standpoint, his budgets have been conservative. I mean, for most of his tenure as mayor, Republicans have voted for his budgets. So Republicans like talk trash about him and they say mean things about him, but then they vote for his budgets. That is
right. I've told those guys too. I'm like, I can't believe you guys. Well, it did this and that. And I was like, you lose all credibility when you vote for the budget.
Yeah, and then that has stopped recently, but I think that's more a matter of politics than they just suddenly realize they don't like his budgets. I don't think that's the case, right? So, yeah, I think if he wanted a deal, and again, he's been mayor for a decade now, if he wanted a deal where the state was going to help Indianapolis fix the roads, everyone agrees the roads need to be fixed, he should have done more to negotiate. You asked the question, do they like him over there? Well, one of the problems is he never goes there. He never shows his face at the State House. Yeah.
See, if I were the mayor, I'd just waltz around in that place. I'm the mayor of the capital city. Like Cartman, you will respect my authority.
So he has another view, and I think there's some merit to this, that he feels that his administration has been better off if he doesn't show his face at the State House. They hate him anyway. So if he goes over there and tries to put his hand into things, that they'll just like use that as reason to stick it to him even more.
Okay.
So he has people over there, like people in his office, people the city hires, they go over there, they negotiate and all of that. But whatever it is, whatever formula you come up with, his administration has been in office for a decade now. And if they didn't want a solution that results in more taxes, it was on them to negotiate it. Now, on the other side, I think the State House has been pretty consistent for several years now that whatever they came up with, if they were going to give Indianapolis more money, it was going to include a tax increase.
So there's two things can be true at the same time, right? Raising taxes is wrong. You're right, though. The Republicans, who we've talked about this for years, they govern a lot more like Democrats financially than Republicans. They are bribing these places, whether it's Greenwood, who we just saw do it, or Indianapolis. You can't give a bank robber a gun outside of a bank and then go, well, that's egregious. That man went in and robbed the bank. They are bribing these guys to raise taxes.
I mean, I don't think I would use the word bribing.
Well, welcome to the Rob Kendall Show, James. We hope you stay a while.
But clearly, they are incentivizing local units of government to raise taxes.
You're so nice. They're incentivizing them. Yes, they're incentivizing.
From school districts to cities, yes, that incentive is there.
They know these guys are going to do that when you hand them the ability.
They're telling them to, and that's one of the things that's really frustrating me about this wheel tax issue in Indianapolis. Privately, State House Republican leaders are saying, you have to pass this. Like, this is the thing we gave you. You have to pass this tax. But then publicly, the Republican counselors are against it,
right,
and the State House leaders aren't saying anything.
Well, yeah, because we had Josh Bain on our show a few weeks ago, and he's like, no, I was there when this deal was put together. They don't have to raise taxes. I said, Josh, it's a city run by Democrats. They had to know what these guys, you had to know, right?
Right. Was it an accident that they put this on the table for the Democrats to consider a tax increase? No, it wasn't an accident.
Okay, so Hogsett comes out and says, and by the way, I also agree with you, Indianapolis, and I actually agree with Jesse Brown on this. Indianapolis is a donor county. You have millions of people every year that flood into the city for a hub of economic activity that benefits everybody else. They should prioritize helping Indianapolis fix their roads because of the contribution that it does for the rest of the state, right?
Yeah.
If that's going to be our argument at Lucas Oil Stadium, then it should also be on the roads that everybody uses to go to Lucas Oil Stadium.
Yeah, and for some reason that's been off the table.
Why?
I don't know. I
mean, the city or...
Yeah, I can't answer that for you. The other thing that's been off the table is a commuter tax, which is taxing people who live outside of Marion County but commute in.
Oh, that's going to hurt me. I'm against that one. No. We got plenty of money, as Braun said the other day. $5 billion. We can give $50 million to the city of Indianapolis.
Yeah, but I mean that's another thing that would make sense, though. I think is targeting people who drive on the streets, help wear them down, but don't pay anything.
Just
in
built
taxes.
this fabulous studio behind you. I can't move out of here already, man. We got to hold off on this. Do you Okay, so Hogsett comes out and says it's fine. We've got the money. I found it. We don't need to raise taxes year one. And my comment today was to your article. Well, if it buys you a year, why would we raise taxes a year early? If you can't find it year two, I mean, it's only 4.5% over 2 years. I think they could find it. But let's say you couldn't. Why would we be against buying citizens an extra year of not paying higher taxes?
Well, you might notice there's no document I've seen that's like Joe Hogsett's plan to, fund this $50 million match for the state money. Like, I haven't seen that. Like, if he has that plan, he is not.
He says it's going to be a mixture of cuts and growth. Do you believe there's enough growth? Because that was sort of my argument is, hey, if you make it through year one, you might be able to grow yourself into year two. Now we've bought 2 years of this. Do you think he's actually going to be able to find the money?
Yeah, so I think it's possible to find the money, and I've written that too. I do think it's possible. You could find $50 million, but there is such a small percentage of the city's overall budget where you can draw that money from, according to how the law works. There just aren't that many places to pull from. So you'd probably be pulling from things like, like fixing up a fire station, or like there are real places that
the fire guys will be fine. They got lots of stuff. I don't know if you noticed. They're fine.
I mean, but you'd have to pull from parks. Like there'd be places where like people live in Indianapolis and expect a certain level of services.
The glowing Park Street can be fine. I mean, come on. So do you think, because they were short on the votes of a supermajority the last time, they got to find 3? Is that right? It was 14-10.
Yeah, one Democrat was absent, and he'll be almost certainly a vote to override the veto. So really 2 people they need.
Are they going to be able to do it?
I don't know. I think there's a lot of interesting politics here. And honestly, so we haven't gotten to my column yet, but I'm honestly not sure my column on Vapo Osili, I'm not sure that's helpful.
I saw that and I thought, Briggs, you're working against your guy. So you said, Osili's plan, he was the former council president. Yeah. He's running for mayor now.
Yeah.
His plan is to bond $375 million backed up against these tax increases and the state matching money.
Yeah.
Does he have support for that? Because it's not just like, he's not talking about just patching it together every year. He's talking about an influx of cash up front based on these tax increases and state matching money.
The other thing he did, and he pulled pulled something out of a Hogsett playbook. Like, we talked earlier, like Republicans always voted for budgets. Well, why did they vote for his budgets? Because Hogsett gave them things for their districts. Right. Well, that's key to Osili's plan here. He would bond $375 million against the wheel tax increase, but also has explicitly stated we're going to spread that out around all the council districts, and so there's a little something for everyone in there.
Taste.
And that's what always used to be in the Hogsett budgets too. That's why Republicans liked it, and maybe he can even peel off a Republican. I don't know.
Because wasn't there one budget where there was like $1 million for every counselor to spend in their district?
Yeah, and now of course that's become a big controversy.
It's like
how
the Sopranos or something, right? Like Paulie Walnuts is running the city. Okay, so in your column you talk about this and you say that's a good idea. What Osili's proposal is the right way to do it, not year by year, influx of cash, and go from there.
Yeah, so there are a lot of numbers floating around, like just how bad is the infrastructure in Marion County, and a number I've seen quite a bit is we're $1 billion behind in deferred maintenance. Like it would take $1 billion just to catch up to like making the streets like decent, acceptable condition.
Okay, so this is always my question. You live here. I just commute and get the hell out of here as fast as possible. We chose here because it's close to where Jason lives. Do you think if you gave them $1 billion, they are competent enough to actually fix the roads?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I mean, so there are a couple of things at play there. One, it's coming up with a plan. Two, it's like how do you do $1 billion in construction in like a short period of time? And that, by the way, that's a problem for Oasley's plan too. Is if they're going to spend it's $375 million that he's put out there. There are only so many construction workers in Indiana, so there's always like a constraint there to how do you get that much work done. But let's assume for a moment they can do it. $375 million, that's a lot. That's a long way toward getting streets into acceptable condition in Indianapolis. And I mean, nobody that I'm aware of during my time around here, which is over a decade, has come up with a better idea of how to do it. I mean, that is a huge investment.
So you do not think it all could come from cuts? You don't, and a $1.7 billion is a big budget. I mean, they got to get to $100 million, right, over a period of years. I feel like if you and I were in charge of the city, Briggsy, we could roll our sleeves up and we could. You don't think that they could get to them?
Yeah. So I tried to take, and I didn't bring my notes with me on this, so I can't get too specific. But I did one day try to take the Republican counselors seriously, and I opened up the budget document, threw in a bunch of things. I was like, all right, how can we do this? I couldn't come up with it. Like there just aren't that many pots of money that you can pull from for this state match, according to the state law, and make it work. And especially without making people complain. Like there are a lot of people live in Marion County. There are a lot of differences whether you live on the south side, the north side, or whatever. And if you're taking money from one thing, you're going to make another group mad.
What gets me, James Briggs, columnist, IndyStar, is our guest. He has a very interesting. See, you're a good writer, and so even when I agree with you, like I was screaming at my computer this morning. I had two emotions. One, I was a segment short on the show, and I was like, first thing I was like, hot damn, segment solved.
I'm here to fill space.
And then the second part of it, I said, I really hate his opinion on this, but man, it's going to be a great segment. So, it's neutral. I see guys like Andrew Ireland and the hypocrisy. So this guy votes to raise taxes by $1 billion in the state budget, and that's okay, but then blows a gasket on $50 million of tax increases in the city of Indianapolis. And I feel like this is why we never actually get viable solutions, because everybody's just in their corner. It's all how cool do I look on Twitter now or social media, and we're not actually coming together because the guy. Public school math, but $1 billion seems a lot more than $50 million, and that's okay, and that's wrong. And so we never get to have like a legitimate conversation about this.
I think what's frustrating about that is you don't see folks like Representative Ireland like suggest alternatives or back up their ideas with anything real. And for instance, like he posted to social media like some idea. How do you get to that $50 million? The question you asked me, like, can you do this without a tax cut? And so he posted like a list of cuts that he would make, and it's like kill the DEI budget, like $1 million. I was like, all right, fine, I'm kind of following along. And then at the bottom he gets to $25 million, and then at the bottom he just puts like $25 million fund that doesn't even exist in next year's budget. So he closes half of the gap with a fake number. And it's like, no, you can't just, if you're going to be out there screaming about this, try to really do it and show us what you got.
You have to. He should run for Congress. He'd be perfect with that approach. Look, I mean, I used to do this at the old radio show. I had a segment called Where'd Your Money Go, where I'd look in and dig into stuff, and it takes time. And everything you do in the legalized vote buying world, you're going to make some person mad if they don't get their stuff. Yeah. It's a great column. It's well written, even though I disagree with your opinion on this. And I got to defend Hogsett. Let's get to the second part of what I want to talk to you about. You seem to be one of the few people who says Hogsett is not running. Yeah. I look at the stuff with the wheel tax. I look at the thing with the data center ban that conveniently sunsets right after the mayor's race. What is the guy actually going to do for a job? But you say no, he's not running. What are you... Why? Why do you think he's not running?
I just don't see any signs that he is. I mean, let's start with the real basics. Like the administration is really diminishing. Like he just doesn't have the level of staff working for him. He's lost a lot of people. The people who've replaced the people who've left, they're less experienced. They're less skilled maybe. Experience, I think, being the biggest factor. So his administration just is not functioning as well as it was like 6 years ago. It's just not. And that's like, whether you like Hogsett.
Wasn't functioning that well then.
Whether you feel that way or not.
Thomas Carl Cook, I think, was the main guy back then. So that's where we're functioning.
Yeah. So, and there are lots of specific, I mean, one really quick example I'll float out there, like the old City Hall projects. That's something that was out there for a long time. Construction was supposed to have started on that a long time ago. TWG Development was a developer on that. And then just a few months ago, the city just pulled out of that deal without really much explanation to the developer. They made the developer mad. And like now they just like put it out for proposals again. Well, like there aren't that many developers in town, and they just made one of them really, really mad. And I think that it's sort of a gaffe, an unforced error.
Give money away to people.
Yeah, sort of an unforced error, I think, by the administration, and I think that reflects the lack of experience in the Department of Metropolitan Development. And that's just one example. I think things like that are happening across the administration right now, where you have leaders working under Hogsett who are just not experienced enough to make things actually happen anymore.
Shouldn't he go ahead and say it? Either way,
yes,
what he's doing, right?
He absolutely should.
We're basically a year. I mean, we're well ahead of a year from the primary now.
Well, and the thing that gets me frustrated whenever people talk about this is he already said it when he ran for mayor for this term, for his my third and final term. You know, like he said that already, and now we're pretending, we're just memory holing that he ever said that, but he did say it. And everything I hear from people around him and everything I can just observe, it seems to me that he really is done right now. And I don't think he could staff an administration for another term. I don't think he has the juice to keep going. I don't think he could run a campaign very effectively. I think it's over.
You guys being the IndyStar and Mere Indy did a phenomenal batch of reporting on Hogsett. And one of the things you reported on is this ethics commission that doesn't exist anymore. And my favorite thing was Haley Colombo caught up with him. And he basically has no answers for anything. And then I think at one point he said something like, I'll have to look into that and get back to you. I mean, how could you have all the scandals that this guy's had and there's an ethics commission and they've never met to the point where I think they met one time. The one guy didn't even know he was on the ethics commission.
And that gets to something that people have been saying for a long time now is he's just AWOL right now.
Was he ever in wall?
He doesn't have answers to, very real, reasonable questions about ethics and about things that have gone on in his administration. He has no answers on that, but he's also just not publicly available to the extent that he used to be. I mean, those of us in the media, we used to have like monthly meetings with him, and those have been gone for 2 years now. And wonder what happened 2 years ago. So he's less visible, less accessible. It's less and less clear by the day, like what he's actually doing right now.
Is the Mears thing a big deal? This reporting that has come out about Mears and these broad ripple businesses. Like, is that a story? It feels like it has potential to be a big story.
I don't think I have much of a view yet on where that, because there are a lot of things. I get this question kind of a lot. Like, does this matter about Mears? And there are quite a few things that have been floating around, and it's hard to say right now.
Okay. All right. Let's go with this. You're a data center guy.
As much of to the extent you can be a data center guy, I am one.
You are in support of the data centers. You're the one person on planet Earth who thinks, like, if I were to parlay you together, Hogsett not running and pro data center, I could just hit a jackpot on it if you were the equivalent of sports betting.
Hey, but I want to hear, why do you think Hogsett is running? Like, what is the counterpoint to that?
Well, I think he's unemployable. I'm serious. I think he's unemployable. I think he craves the power. Clearly, his whole life has been about power. He's not a young guy anymore. What's he going to do? And I just feel like the vetoing of the taxes and the like sunsetting of the data center thing right after the election, like it all just seems very, I'm going to run again. But you're way more in touch with Indy politics than I am. So you're going to be a genius.
So to make the argument against myself, I'll give you a little bit credit for what you just said, because I think that's how we ended up with a third term. I think he just couldn't find anything better to do, and so he ran again. And now, now he's going to be in his 70s. So to the extent that he really, in a fourth term, he would be in his 70s. So to the extent that he doesn't, that he wants to, he wants to keep influence, wants to keep power, but can't find a job. I mean, I'd say there's always a chance. I'll say there's a chance.
Say something about the mayor that he can't find. Who would hire him? That's our mayor, and we're saying who would hire him.
Well, sometimes the question is more like, can't somebody find a job for him? That was my question with Diego Morales. Like, can't somebody, like, there's a lot of powerful Republicans. Can't somebody find him a job? And a few years ago, that was my question about the mayor. Like, isn't there like a university presidency somewhere that Joe Hogsett could slide right into?
Look, we've proven podcasting is not hard.
Right, yeah.
Okay, real quick on the data centers, though.
Yeah.
You like the data centers. It doesn't bother you the way it does other people.
Well, I wouldn't say it doesn't bother me. I think we have to move on from, are they evil? Are they good or evil? Like, let's be adults. Like, we're all using AI. We're all using the internet. Like, we need these things to keep those running. So we're not going to like reverse and go back to a world in which we just don't have AI. Like, our whole stock market is based on AI right now. We need the data centers. All right. So the question is, where is it appropriate to build them, and what are the terms we will accept for building them? And I think there are a lot of very reasonable concerns. Like, we shouldn't be incentivizing these things. Like, I can absolutely get on board with the people who say state and city governments should not be throwing millions and millions of dollars at these things to get them to build. Okay, so I'm there. But I think we need them. I think there should be some way to get to yes on them. And I think we all should be arguing, all right, where is it acceptable to build one? I think that's what would actually move us forward.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that. I think if you got $1 billion building that's paying the full 3% from the word go, that's a different conversation than that building's got a property tax abatement for decades. I think it's and all the personal property tax they pay nothing on, and the sales tax they're exempted from. I think that's where people like me get confused is all this risk for what is our reward?
Yeah, and you can find communities out there that are doing that are actually using them for good, like Lebanon. You can find places that are actually fueling.
Here we go.
Your favorite place.
We go with the Facebook data center. We're out of time. James Briggs, the new column out, talking about the wheel. There's a lot of actually really good information in the column, which you always put. I think your opinion's wrong, but I think the article actually has a bunch of great information about Hogsett, about the wheel tax, about what's going to happen next. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
If authentic wood-smoked barbecue is your thing, Double D's Barbecue in Clayton is the place for you. Owners Dennis and Tina Duncan, along with their son Garrett, are from Memphis. So when it comes to barbecue, they're not screwing around. No pellet smokers, no roasters, just authentic wood-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. All of Double D's food is cooked fresh daily, and it's all made from scratch. Double D's Barbecue, located at 40 and 39 in Clayton, is open all day Wednesday through Saturday, but get there early because once they're sold out, they're done. Check out the full menu, ribs, brisket, and more at ddbbq317.com.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Is the inside of your house a total mess, like a complete dumpster fire? Call AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning. When you walk into your house after using AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning, you will see and smell the difference. They take great pride in their workers and treat your home like their own. All cleaners pass through a background check and drug screening. Call today and mention you heard about AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning on the Rob Kendall Show, and you will get an incredible $50 off your first clean. AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning serves all of Central Indiana. Book your appointment today by calling 317-530-8148. 317-530-8148. Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're having a great Thursday. Thanks for spending it with us. You can really help us out, help us grow this program, dedicated Indiana news, politics, and government you're not going to hear anywhere else, by hitting that little thumbs up button. Right now, I know every so often throughout the course of the show, we drop that in there. We do that because it works. Hit that little thumbs up button. Help us grow the Rob Kendall Show. All right, let's talk about the big news that came down yesterday from Indiana state government. Before we do that, though, you guys got a leaky chimney, water in the basement, cracks around the exterior of your home? Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants is your authority for chimney repair, tuck pointing, foundation repair, crawl space to basement conversions, basement waterproofing, and more. Bramwell Mackay doesn't offer quick patches. Their team of 40-year master masons and industry experts address the root cause and provide solutions that last lifetimes. Your home is one of your biggest investments. Treat it that way. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY, BramwellMackay.com, your masonry, foundation, and chimney specialist. Also, just a quick programming reminder, State House Happenings dropped this morning. So when you get done with the Rob Kendall Show today or any point throughout your day today, if you're like, I need more Rob Kendall Show, State House Happenings. 30 minutes each week. We take a look back at the biggest stories that was from the past 7 days in Indiana politics and government. We cram them into 30 minutes. It's Jim Merritt. It's Abdul. It's myself. You guys know we've been doing this show for years and years and years, 10 years now. And so you can check that out. It's on the videos tab of our YouTube page. Also, all the on-demand platforms have gotten them, the Apple, the iHeart, Spotify. Check out State House Happenings. Think you'll really enjoy it. Think of just like a 30-minute yesterday. Was that the state of Indiana has certified officially Greg Ballard is on the ballot. He has made it, and he will be a part of the conversation for the next 4 months, and you'll be able to vote for him or not vote for him this November. According to the Indiana Capitol Chronicle, the Indiana Election Division staff determined Wednesday Ballard's campaign had submitted 40,361 verified petition signatures of registered voters, according to Matthew Kocaver, the division's co-general counsel. Okay, so just a reminder of how all of this has worked. It's just, and look, that is the biggest story here of this, that he made it, is how difficult it is to actually run for public office in Indiana unless you kiss the ring finger of a political party you don't necessarily desire to associate with. If you want to say to yourself, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I'm my own person, they have made it virtually impossible, certainly for statewide offices, to be able to participate to the government you are required to fund. Now, you guys know, you longtime listeners, I have said for years that it floored me that no one did what Ballard did before he did it. Because while there's a huge barrier to access, you guys know I've said this for years, a really rich person or a really known connected person could have done what Ballard did. Because the really rich guy obviously has the money to pay for the signatures, which will, or pay people to collect the signatures, which we'll talk about. But also a connected guy like Ballard has proven he can fundraise to be able to get the signatures. So just a reminder of how this whole process worked. So Ballard did it through a mixture. He had a group of about 100 volunteers. He had a firm that he hired. We'll talk about the finances on that pretty soon. And he put those two together and he deployed people out to go get signatures. Primarily, not exclusively, but primarily in central Indiana, Marion and the Donut counties, which makes sense. It's where he's most known. And each one of those signature petitions were done by county. So you would get the signatures, you would find out where someone lives. Each county had their own pages of signatures, and then at a certain point, they would take those signatures and turn them into the county government to be verified. And when that was all said and done, despite acquiring 74,000 signatures, the counties certified, if I recall, a little bit over 41,000. 41,200, I think, was the number. County governments look at the signatures. They match them up with their records on file. They say these signatures are good. There you go. Now, remember, the number Greg Ballard needed to get was close to 37,000 signatures, just under 37,000 signatures. He turned in then, so once you acquire all of those signatures, the list of certified signatures from the counties, you then take them and you present them to the Indiana Election Division, who is basically the final boss. They essentially check the work of the county governments. Final boss, right? They are the final say. And of those 41,000 plus signatures that Greg Ballard turned in, almost 1,000 of them got thrown out by the election division for whatever reason, a whole bunch of reasons. And again, these signatures get thrown out all the time. Having worked on a U.S. Senate campaign, gathered the signatures, it certainly doesn't mean fraud. It doesn't mean malicious intent. They get thrown out for a wide variety of reasons. And every Senate or governor's candidate who's had to get these signatures will attest to that. And it shows you how hard it actually is. I mean, think about almost 1,000, 900 roughly of those signatures ended up getting thrown out at the state level after it passed the county level. When you look at, and I didn't do the math on this, and I should have, if he acquired 74,000 signatures and only 40,361 got verified at the end, the final hurdle, you're looking at, I mean, what is that number? About 40, 45%? I mean, I'm just doing quick math off the top of my head. Maybe not quite that much, but pretty close. Got thrown out. They had to get so far over the number because of the propensity for signatures to be dismissed. Now, he ended up making it because 36,943 was the number he needed. He ended up with 40,361. He ended up making it by roughly 3,400 signatures. So, I mean, some room to spare, but not 10%. A little bit under 10%. And by the way, and it's going to live on for a long time on this show. The way they come up with the number you need is 2% of the votes cast in the previous Secretary of State's election. So 36,943 votes, signatures represents 2% of the total votes cast in 2022 for Secretary of State. All right. So the Capitol Chronicle did some interesting work on this. And according to them, here's what the Capitol Chronicle wrote. His campaign reported paying $780,000 to this North Carolina-based firm, Ballot Access Marketing, for signature collection. That represents, according to the Capitol Chronicle, more than 90% of the campaign's nearly $850,000 in total spending through the end of June. Guys, that is a gargantuan amount of money. Now, in hindsight, and I've been saying this for years, as you guys know, $780,000 is nothing to completely, potentially disrupt the political atmosphere, process, way of doing business, whatever word you want to use, in the entire state, which Ballard now is, I think, likely to do. I think it's very likely Greg Ballard will not only get the 10%, he will easily eclipse it. And then you will have a new political party with primary ballot access, which means, and as we've talked about before, the primary ballot access is key because you are then open yourself up to millions of dollars every year of taxpayer subsidized advertising. And I know somebody asked before, what do you mean by taxpayer subsidized advertising? Why is the primary ballot access so important? Couple reasons. Number one, every time you go vote in a primary, they ask you, would you like a Republican ballot or a Democrat ballot? If Greg Ballard eclipses 10%, they will then ask you, do you want a Republican ballot, a Democrat ballot, or a Lincoln Party ballot? When you've got hundreds of thousands or even millions, depending on the election cycle, of people voting, and they have to hear that name, that's great advertising. The second thing, the primary ballot access means you will have people, your candidates, in front of the voters starting in the spring. People will see the names starting in January, February even. Obviously, the filing deadline is February to run for public office. Primary ballot, you run in a primary. That's an additional several months of candidates being able to be out there, being able to campaign, being able to get interviews, being able to get media attention. Again, articles in your local newspaper or radio stations, or, even podcasts like this, or radio shows, or the IndyStar. Again, millions of dollars in what they call earned media, free advertising for the Lincoln Party, for the candidates. And last, I think for the big offices, you're going to get primary challenges. The governor, the Senate, the Congress races, the statewide offices. And that is going to get, again, earned media of local media, of various media outlets across the state covering those primaries. You become a part of the conversation, which again becomes millions of more dollars in earned media. Look, if Ballard doesn't get to 10%, this was a gigantic waste of time. Because we already have an also-ran party that nominates at conventions with 2%. He's got to get to the 10%. Now, Greg Ballard's the perfect guy to do it. He's the perfect guy. But the real story here, well, there's a couple stories. One, maybe this is just personal spite, I don't know. But I took great joy yesterday. Nathan Gotch, who is the campaign manager for Ballard, we've had him on the show before, of course, posted a bunch of comments from either Republican office holders or people associated with them or Republican affiliated people or whatever. Of these people saying that Ballard was going to make it, he couldn't make it. He was, he only had X amount of signatures, which proved to be way wrong. I mean, there's a whole lot of Republican power players, Republican elected officials, the hangers-on, the minions, the appointed people who look like complete dumbasses today. He did it. He did it against all odds. A totally rigged system that the Republicans believed that they had rigged the system so great that nobody could crack the code, and Ballard did it. Ballard beat them at their own game. I mean, the idea that you had Republicans, essentially from the moment Ballard announced he was running, saying, he's not going to get it. He's not going to do it. Greg Ballard's about as big of a name as you could realistically get to run, who could raise money, who has gravitas, who could get infrastructure behind him. And what was many Republicans' initial response? He's not going to get it. He can't do it. They were telling you how rigged they thought the game was in their favor. That someone even of the level of Greg Ballard, who checks every box you would want, in terms of you were like, who's the ideal? I'm not saying from policies. I'm not saying from politics. I'm saying like if you just drew up who you could realistically get to run for statewide office as an independent candidate, Greg Ballard would probably be it. And the Republicans were so arrogant about the system they created designed to keep people out that they were like, he's not going to do it. He's just wasting people's money. He's just going to keep the consultants in business. And he did it. He beat them at their own game. But again, it cost him essentially $780,000 to pull it off. That's the barrier to access. Why is that okay? Why is it all right that we have a system that is rigged to the point where unless you can raise $780,000, you probably can't do it? Because again, he hired a well-known firm. He had huge name ID, raised a bunch of money, and he made it by less than 10%. Not a lot of room to spare. Now, it's not like the one signature that Young made it by. Made it by, in air quotes. But, it's ridiculous. It shows how much, when I use the phrase, these people hate you, the politicians, how much they hate you. What would you call it where the people design a system by which no regular person could actually do it? I mean, we were talking with Nikki Kelly last week about Jamie Rittenauer when she ran for governor a couple of years ago. And she somehow managed to get the 4,500 signatures, which is 500 signatures in all 9 congressional districts, verified. And you guys remember from the old show, we were talking at the time how amazing that was. This is almost, 9 times what she had to do. 8.5 times. No regular person can do this. And the Republicans are quite happy about that. So now that Ballard's been, sounds funny to say, but now that Ballard's been certified, Greg Ballard is certifiable. Now that Greg Ballard is a candidate, we can start to talk about what the election means. What each candidate becoming the Secretary of State actually means, and we can include Greg Ballard in the conversation. And for Greg Ballard, when you think about who you're going to vote for, and again, I have no idea what Ballard's campaign is going to look like. I don't know what issues he's going to run on. I'm just talking about from the big picture of it. If Greg Ballard gets 10%, I mean, there's different levels of winning to me. Like if you're Bo Bai and you don't win, you've lost, right? Because the Democrats already have ballot access. If you don't win, you've lost. What is it? What's the thing that Ricky Bobby said? If you're not first, you're last. I mean, that's sort of true for him. He's got one standard of winning, and that is getting more votes than the other three candidates in the race. Max Engling, the Republican, same thing. If he doesn't win, it's a huge loss. He's got to get more votes than the other two candidates. Greg Ballard plays by a different set of rules, though, and it makes the voting decision for each of us more interesting. Because obviously, I would assume Greg Ballard wants to win. I assume he's doing this not just for some pleasure cruise, that he wants to and believes he can actually win. I don't know if he can. We will see. I do think it's interesting, even though I know people are polling. We haven't seen any polls. And the polling's going to be interesting to me because somebody may get a poll that shows they're winning and not put it out. Like if it's going to be so hard for me to judge how Ballard may actually be doing until I see polling, like multiple polls. Because if you're Max Engling, you may be able to get a poll that shows, I'm just making up numbers here, Engling 40, Bai 38, Ballard 15. I have no idea if that's anywhere even in the ballpark. I'm totally just making up numbers. And, okay, well, he's winning. Is Max Engling going to put out a poll that shows he's only winning by 2 points against Bai? Because if you're Bai, don't you look at that and go, hey, guys, we got ourselves a ball game. And it also shows validity for Ballard. Are you going to put that poll out? I want to see who blinks first and who shows their numbers. Because they're all polling. At least the Republicans and Democrats are. Ballard, after having to burn through all that cash, may not have the ability to do it. But Ballard is the guy who plays by a different set of rules. I assume he wants to win. But anything over 10% for everybody other than Greg Ballard is a win. Because anything over 10% opens up the ability now for all of us to be able to run and be able to participate without having to go through this Herculean, completely ridiculous standard that Greg Ballard had to do. I think one of the things people will have to think about with Greg Ballard that they don't with the other two is, do I want to totally disrupt the process of government in our state? That's a compelling argument to make because so many people hate the government. Look, I think and it's one of the reasons I think the libertarians are in big trouble about not getting their 2%. If I'm Greg Ballard, I campaign on that. If I'm Greg Ballard, I campaign on basically everything but the office because the office is boring. You have the ability, unlike the other two, to say a vote for me is a vote to destroy the political process, totally disrupt, totally upend the political process and the two parties in Indiana. What a compelling statement because so many people hate the two parties. They may not like you, but I guarantee no matter whatever beef they have with Ballard when he was mayor of Indianapolis, they'll dislike the two-party system more. What a great argument. If you're Bo Bai has to make the argument that we have to win the office. The Republicans are corrupt. We have to find out what happened in this office because of Diego. It's a good argument. It's the argument he's making. It should be the argument. But he can't run against the two-party system because he's a part of the two-party system. He can run against the one party that's controlling the system, but he can't run against the two-party system because he's a part of it. Ballard gets a whole new lane to solicit votes from. And all he's got to tell people to convince people their vote matters is I got to get to 10%. You help me. Every vote helps me destroy, upend the political process. I think the campaign, I'm so excited about this. Ballard makes everything so much more interesting. How does Bai handle the campaign now? How does Engling respond to this? There's only a limited amount of resources. And where do these people, Bai and Engling, where do they divert? Do they go at each other? Do they go at Ballard? Can you be wasting your money on a third-party candidate? Like, all of these things now are in play. It is going, it has the potential to be. It should be the most interesting election in the history of the state of Indiana. And what do you do? What do your friends do? You got to take a long, hard look about what Ballard represents, not just in terms of winning, but that 10%. Because it opens up the ability for you to participate. It opens up the ability for your neighbors to participate. It opens up the ability to start holding the monopoly, the cannibalizing that the Republicans have done on politics in this state accountable, to push back. For the next 4 years, if he gets that 10%, there will consistently be another voice with some sort of validity to it in the process. Now, again, if Ballard doesn't get 10%, it'll be 4 years of these guys nominating people at convention, and then the party probably won't exist anymore. Yesterday was a great day. And again, not an endorsement of Greg Ballard, not telling you to vote for Ballard, but it's a great day for everybody. And I think this is what this show is about. It's about independence. It's about the idea of recognition that both sides, the Republicans and Democrats, have done major damage to this country and have executed a stranglehold. Now, if you came to me and you said, Rob, Bo Bai is going to be the next Secretary of State, it's going to happen. I said, great, good. It's not the Republican. We'll find out what's going on in that office. Great. If you presented to me a scenario where Greg Ballard gets over 10% but doesn't win, but Bai wins, okay, great. We have to get somebody other than the Republicans in that Secretary of State's office to find out how much corruption actually took place. This is the first really interesting election in our state. I was trying to think about this driving into work. When was the last time we had an actual super interesting election in our state? And probably Donnelly beating Murdoch was it. But that one was only interesting the final 2 weeks because of Murdoch's blunder. Week, whatever it was. It wasn't like there were months and months of it being interesting. Had Murdoch not made the statement about abortion, he would have won. And he probably would have won, 4 or 5 points, whatever. It didn't get interesting until then. This is going to be months of being interesting. You have an actually viable Democrat. You have, by independent standards, an A-plus candidate. You have Republicans that are facing an office that has been just one scandal after another. Even though the guy's not going to be the nominee, he's still in the office. It's sort of uncharted territory and an opportunity for major change in the political structure in the state of Indiana. Whether you like Greg Ballard as mayor or not, everybody needs to say good job. Everybody needs to say thanks. And I have huge issues with how Ballard handled it being mayor of Indianapolis. But I would be saying this to any person who pulled off what Ballard did, who has a legitimate shot to create a viable, lasting third party for more people to have a voice. For me, the Ballard thing isn't I don't care whether he was the mayor of Indianapolis, the mayor of Greenwood, the mayor of Reelsville, or a mayor of nothing. I don't care if he's a trash man. Congratulations. And that was not in any way meant to be a disparaging comment about trashmen. Please don't anybody think that. God bless the trashmen, because I sure don't want to do it. Just the first job that popped in my head. Remember, it was like Ghostbusters, choose the destroyer. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Trash man, for whatever reason, was just the first. I think because I threw away trash today. I don't know. Whatever. Point is, though, it doesn't matter what the politics of the guy. to say congratulations on beating the Republicans at their own game in the rigged system they've created designed to keep regular people from running. Congratulations and thanks for doing that. That's awesome. You guys have a dog, we don't have a fenced-in yard? Your HOA, maybe they don't allow a fence. Worried about having to watch your furry friend anytime they go outside? You can avoid the blazing hot summers, which are coming back, I'm sure, and freezing cold winters, which we know they'll be there, with All-American Dog Fence. All-American Dog Fence is the cost-effective, it's easy-to-use, in-ground fence system designed to keep your dog secure and give you peace of mind anytime they're outside. All-American Dog Fence, owned by Kelly and Jeff, they're huge fans of our show, used to be called Indiana Dog Fence. And they loved the company so much and the job they did for them, because they have 3 dogs, they bought it. And now it's All-American Dog Fence. That is a testimonial, right? The owners loved the company so much they bought it. All-American Dog Fence backs their Pet Stop products, designed and manufactured in the United States with a lifetime warranty. All-American Dog Fence, they pride themselves on a bunch of things, but a couple things really stand out. One, the customer service. You call the big guys, you're not getting somebody oftentimes local who cares about you, cares about your pet, cares about doing a good job. You get that with All-American Dog Fence, customer service. Second thing is the price. Listen to this deal. Call All-American Dog Fence today for a free quote, 317-862-6606. You got nothing to lose by calling. And by the way, you can just call and say thanks, or text and say thanks for supporting the Rob Kendall Show. That goes a long way. 317-862-6606. Or visit their website at allamericandogfence.com. Ask for a free quote. Mention the Rob Kendall Show, and you're going to get $200 off. An incredible $200 off by simply mentioning the Rob Kendall Show. All-American Dog Fence, 317-862-6606. All right. We got a bunch of polling to get to. I love polling, guys. I think and if you treat it what it is, it's a snapshot of a moment in time. It's an interesting look, at least on one day, about how people were feeling about different things. And there is a new poll out for one very important state on who voters that are claimed to prefer right now to run for president on the Democrat side. And it tells us a lot about where the Democrats are. Interesting data on the Republicans as well. We'll tell you about it when we come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show. Do you have a dog but don't have a fenced-in yard? Your HOA won't allow a fence? Worried about having to watch your furry friend anytime you go outside? Avoid the blazing hot summers and freezing cold winters with All-American Dog Fence. All-American Dog Fence is the cost-effective, easy-to-use, in-ground fence system to keep your dog secure and give you peace of mind anytime they're outside. All-American Dog Fence backs their Pet Stop products with a lifetime warranty. Call or text All-American Dog Fence at 317-862-6606 or visit their website at allamericandogfence.com. Mention the Rob Kendall Show and get $200 off a new installation.
DC politicians don't care. Buying stocks with insider information, they get filthy rich. But if you did it, you'd get locked up. Thankfully, there's one fighter on our side. Senator Todd Young is pushing to ban all congressional stock trading forever. He's never traded a single stock while in Congress. Young's a Marine who does the right thing. Contact Senator Todd Young. Thank him for standing up for us and for fighting to ban congressional stock trading.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
Welcome back, guys. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Hope you're having an awesome Thursday, whether you're joining us live on YouTube or on demand. Man, thousands of people all day, every day, joining us on those podcasting platforms. Of course, I have a lot of people on demand on YouTube, but also Apple, Spotify, iHeart. And, we just don't give those people enough love. So I want to take a moment when you're listening there, wherever, whatever. But there's so many platforms. People are like, are you on this? And I'm like, I don't know. And then it turns out we are. But, the big ones are Apple, iHeart, Spotify. Thank you to everybody that joins us each and every day, helping us grow this program, dedicated to Indiana news, politics, and government that you're not going to get anywhere else. You can help us out, though, live. If you're one of these live people or on-demand people on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. Really does help us grow the program. Thank you to all of you who do that every single day. Hey, many homeowners are sitting on more equity than they realize. If you've owned your home for a few years, now may be a good time to explore your options. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage is a local mortgage advisor helping Central Indiana homeowners refinance to access cash for home improvements, consolidate higher interest debt, or simply review whether a better loan structure is available. Gary believes every homeowner deserves a personalized mortgage review, not a one-size-fits-all solution from a call center. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more. Loansbygary.homes to learn more. Gary Tedrow, Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 179207, equal housing lender. Gary's another one of those guys, been with us from the beginning. Thank you, Gary Tedrow. All right, polling. And some people aren't as into polling as I am. I'm not into polling like, oh my gosh, this is definitely what's going down. I just think it's fascinating because it's sort of an insight into a moment in time, how people were feeling whenever they answered the phone or responded to the text message. And I think it's obviously very fluid, especially when we're talking about things like a presidential race that's 2.5 years off. But at least for the moment, I think there's some interesting reveals here. So this is from Mediaite. The University of New Hampshire released a poll on Wednesday about who are the front runners on both sides of the aisle. Now, not surprising on the Republican side, the two big names were J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio. J.D. Vance came in at 36%, Marco Rubio 26%. That doesn't surprise me at all. Now, I do think Rubio, by the time we get to 2028, is probably going to be the guy. Vance is too connected into Trump. I think Trump is going to look. I don't know what Trump can do to swing his popularity at this point. I don't know what that's going to be because there's nothing in the works that looks like it's addressing the key issues, which are prices, inflation, cost of living. Obviously, the stuff with Iran. Now you've got a full-blown military conflict where people are dying. Like it doesn't seem like, look, it's really going to depend on what happens in the midterms here. If the Republicans have a bloodbath in the midterms, Trump's going to be in big trouble because people are just going to be like, we've done it, we're moving on. And so Rubio, while a part of the administration, seems much less connected to Trump. I don't know if that's the right way to describe it, but this didn't surprise me at all what the Republican side said. By the way, also in there was Rand Paul, at 8%. He was the next big guy at 8%. And that doesn't surprise me either. There's a huge libertarian wing to the Republican Party, and that didn't surprise me at all. But you're to say right now, who are the front runners? Vance, Rubio. Democrats, on the other hand, very interesting. The front runner right now, and this tells you a lot about where the Democrats are going, and it comes back to that snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Now, just a reminder, this is one state. New Hampshire is a little bit different than the other states. It has a lot more of an independent tilt to it. So, take it for what it is. It's just us having fun, chatting about data. The front runner right now for the Democrats is AOC. Right now, according to this University of New Hampshire poll, AOC with 22% is leading the Democrats. She is followed by the guy that if you ask me right now, Rob, who's going to be the Democrat nominee for president, this is the guy I would tell you, Pete Buttigieg. Pete Buttigieg is very close second, 21%. Again, I'm not saying Buttigieg is going to be the guy. It's not like take it to the bank. I'm just saying right now, if you said, Rob, who do you think will be the Democrat nominee? It'll be Buttigieg. He's an idiot, but he comes off as being very smart. You know, some people, they'll just say a bunch of stuff and you get done and you're like, He didn't say anything. That's Buttigieg. He was a complete dumpster fire as the transportation secretary. But competency is never a requirement for public office in either party, certainly not the Democrats. So that ain't going to matter. And he checks the diversity box. Like, he sounds infinitely smarter than AOC, and he'll check the same diversity box that she can check. I mean, it's a different thing. She's a woman. He's gay. But it's the box. And so if you were to ask me right now who I thought it would be, if you said you have to pick one person, I would say it's Buttigieg. Next on the list is Mark Kelly. He's the Arizona senator at 9%. Gavin Newsom at 8%. A huge, huge decline for Gavin Newsom. Followed by Bernie Sanders. Sanders still makes the list at 6%. He's 9 million years old. And then Kamala Harris at 5%. Ocasio-Cortez's support comes mostly from, quote, self-described socialists and progressives, while Buttigieg's backing is more evenly spaced out, according to the University of New Hampshire's Survey Center, among, quote, progressives, liberals, and moderates. Exactly. I think AOC has a very narrow path. But the fact that she is leading now tells you what a strong grip the far left is taking of the Democrat Party. That's the real takeaway here. The vice grip that is happening amongst the far left on the Democrats and on the mainstream of the Democrat Party. Because she is, and she comes off as, and she embraces being a big leftist. Buttigieg is a leftist. He doesn't wear it on his sleeve. He tries to come off as middle. Same thing with Gavin Newsom. They're all kind of cut from the same cloth, but she embraces it. And now, at least in one state, that's leading for the Democrats. Now, Kalshi, this is the prediction market. Betting on politics is illegal in America, but for some reason, putting money in a prediction market, which is essentially wagering on politics, is not. I don't write the rules. I'm just telling you what the rules are. Kalshi is one of the major prediction markets in America. According to Kalshi, AOC's chances have gone from 10% in January to 15% today. Newsom, meanwhile, according to Mediaite, saw his numbers drop from 35% in January to 18% now. So AOC is rising, Gavin Newsom is falling. And I think a big part of that is the prediction market, the people who are putting money in, see the growth, the expansion that the liberal, the far left, not just liberals, the far left is having on the Democrat Party. And they're looking at that and they're saying, well, if I'm going to put money somewhere, the odds are getting greater that a far left liberal is going to win rather than a person who is trying to somewhat run away from the left in Gavin Newsom. Speaking of polling, I am fascinated by this one. And you know me, I hate one of my least favorite things is to tell you guys how right I was. But ironically, and I had no idea this poll was out. I did not see this poll until last night. But it's exactly what I wrapped up the show yesterday discussing. Remember yesterday I wrapped up the show saying that before we got to the YouTube comments about how so many people are looking for someone, for something in their politics, that they are the top priority, that people care about them, that they're not finding it from their politicians. You guys remember that yesterday, right before we got to the YouTube comments with Jason? Just ironically, that was what I was talking about. And then this poll from Gallup came out, and it backs up everything I just said. So Gallup is arguably the largest, most well-known polling firm in the country. And according to Gallup, in 2025, more than half of U.S. adults, 58%, said the government doesn't care about them at all. That's crazy because that's exactly the segment I did yesterday. Look, remember, we were talking about how do you be effective in our business? You gotta understand, you gotta care about, you gotta know your audience. And I do that. That's one of the things I do pretty well. I know the audience. I believe for years and years, look, we do. What we did for years on the radio, now what we do here is different than anybody else. And we have the lane to ourselves because you have to claim it from the beginning. You can't steal the banner because people have heard you for years. We are one of the true, especially in the opinion sector, true independent voices out there. People know and have known for years our hatred for both sides is pretty legit. We've proved it over and over and over again. And so we have the lane of independence. We have claimed it, and it has been successful. And for years, we have defied you got to be one side or the other in this business. You got to be a homer for one side or the other. You got to suck up to one side or the other. You got to go to events and the speaking engagements and with one side or the other. And we said, no. I believe, and it's why I think Ballard's going to do well. Look, I don't know whether Greg Ballard's an actual independent or not. I don't know. This is not about his politics. It's about the label he's wearing. And I think our show proved for years there's a whole bunch of the country. In fact, I think most of a plurality of the country that doesn't identify with either side. They're looking for someone who's going to tell them the truth, even if they don't agree with what the person says. They know they're not getting BS'd. They're not listening to some person or watching some person that's all about team sports. And that's what you get here. We take on everyone because we care about you. We're interested in the policy because we're interested in you because, and look, not hiding anything from you here, you are my lifeblood. If you don't exist, I don't get to exist. If you don't tune in, I don't get to tune in. I don't get to have a program for you to tune in from. Because if you don't exist and you don't tune in and you don't participate, I don't have sponsors. It's true. It's more true now than ever. Look, you're on the radio. There's going to be people, no matter how bad you might be, or the TV, people are going to find you. Channel surfing, right? Oh, there's some guy talking. Let's see if he's good or not. Same thing with television. Oh, there's some guy talking. Let's see what they're saying. There ain't no randomly finding me with what I'm doing now. We've had to grow organically. Every person who consumes us every day, they meant to do it. That's why our time spent listening, like TSL, is so great. And yeah, do we have the numbers we once did? No, because there's not people randomly finding you. And it's not on the radio. It's not readily available. You have to seek it out. But we've thrived in this medium because the same deal we had for all those other years, which is people know I am invested in you and your life. I understand you. I am you. And the government is the exact opposite of that. The government doesn't like you. The government doesn't care about you. The government sees you as an obstacle. You are nothing but a piggy bank and an obstacle and an annoyance. Shut up and pay. And I think, by the way, this is a record number according to Gallup. 11 points above that figure from 2021. So they asked the same question in 2021. 4 years later, for 2025, 58% of adults say the government doesn't care about them at all. Great. Everybody's starting to figure it out. The Democrats don't care and the Republicans don't care. I used to get asked this all the time, like, why does your show do so well? Because we're giving people something they can't get anywhere else. We're giving them the truth. We're not invested in one side or another. We have no friends. You are our friends. And the people now are catching on that's the truth. 4% feel cared about a lot and 30% somewhat. Think about that. The best you can do is somewhat. Well, 38% feel their government somewhat cares about them. Another interesting piece of data from that Gallup survey. 1 in 3 U.S. adults, so 34%, name road-related accidents as their most top-of-mind daily safety risk. It's followed by roughly 1 in 5 point to crime and violence compared with the global average. I thought that was interesting, that the being on the road each day, I mean, it's not political, but it's in the same survey because they get into politics as part of the answer from people who fear political violence. But the top two things U.S. adults fear, overwhelmingly road-related accidents. 34% is their biggest perceived safety risk. And second is crime and violence at 19%, so 15%, down 15% from the top one. Thought it was interesting. All right. Let's preview what the fall might look like when we come back. Some new information about how people are feeling about Democrats and Republicans as they ponder who to vote for this fall. We'll take a look at it. We'll tell you why that might be. Hour 3 is coming up next. It's going to be upon us. Court Test brought to you by John Russ. Don't go anywhere. We got so much more to get to. You're watching The Rob Kendall Show. Do you have a dog but don't have a fenced-in yard? Your HOA won't allow a fence? Worried about having to watch your furry friend anytime you go outside? Avoid the blazing hot summers and freezing cold winters with All-American Dog Fence. All-American Dog Fence is the cost-effective, easy-to-use, in-ground fence system to keep your dog secure and give you peace of mind anytime they're outside. All-American Dog Fence backs their Pet Stop products with a lifetime warranty. Call or text All-American Dog Fence at 317-862-6606 or visit their website at allamericandogfence.com. Mention The Rob Kendall Show and get $200 off a new installation.
In Congress, I get all sorts of insider stock tips. Sure, I cashed in. It's my Beltway bonus. But now here comes Senator Todd Young with his total ban on congressional stock trades.
Freaking Mr. Clean Marine. Todd Young's got real guts taking us on. Young's gonna cost me millions.
Had enough of this? Contact Senator Todd Young to say thanks and let him know that you stand with his plan to ban stock trading for all members of Congress.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Thanks for joining us. Never mention this anymore, but I guess it's worthwhile putting out there. I do have a Twitter account. If you enjoy what we do here, I have a Twitter account at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter, at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter. If you're a person who does the Twitter and you want to play along with a lot of the stuff we talk about on the show, we put out over there as well. So give us a follow at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter. Also, hit that like button if you haven't. Please, really helps us out. We're in that phase with my daughter now, so I need to do it too. She wants something. Say please. Please. Please and thank you. Thanks for hitting the like button, helping us grow the program. It's not quite hour 3 yet, but it's close now because I'm going to get rolling on some stuff. So it'll give me an opportunity to remind you that hour 3, because I don't want to forget to do this, hour 3 every day brought to you by the great John Russ. Thank you to John Russ. Of course, for those of you longtime listeners, you know this, but the newer ones may not. We used to be 2 hours when we started. Were we 9 to noon or were we 10 to noon? We were 10 to noon, weren't we? Oh, man, that extra hour of sleep was great. Anyway, we were going 10 to noon when we started, and what I realized was I was running out of time because the YouTube chat became such a big thing. You guys do such an awesome job in the YouTube chat, so we got to keep showcasing our YouTube chatters, keep people involved, let them know we appreciate them. It got sponsored, so we had to do, and I said, we were basically going an hour and 45 minutes. I'm running out of time to get through all these stories. I need an extra hour to ensure we get to all the stuff. And I also want to do some national things, and we weren't able to do it. I said, we need to add a third hour. I was like, I don't have time to go sell a third hour, though. Would somebody just sponsor a third hour? And I was just talking with John one day, and I said, hey, we're thinking about going to third hour. He said, well, what are you thinking? Blah, blah, blah. And he said, what do you need? I said, I need a sponsor. He goes, I'll do it. I said, I didn't even tell you how much it was going to cost. He goes, I'll do it. No problem. I love the show. So thanks to John Rust, the hours and hours of extra entertainment that you guys get every single day, every single week, every single month. Maybe someday we'll be able to say every single year. Brought to you by the great John Rust. Thank you to John Rust. Of course, John is a giving person. That's why he's having a big old free bash for you, the fabulous Rob Kendall Show listeners, to attend. It is October the 3rd. That is a Saturday at the palatial Rust Estate in Seymour. It's going to be the celebration of America's 250th birthday. We're going to have a car show there. He's going to have a car show there. I'm going to give a speech about how great the country is. Patriotic music. Lunch catered by Double D's. Birthday cake to celebrate Jason's birthday and more. Oh, and by the way, Seymour Oktoberfest is going on, I believe, that same weekend. So when you're done at the big party, head on over to that. October the 3rd, event starts at noon. All you got to do to come, hang out with us, have some fun with us. There's no cost to attend. Just send John an email and let him know you're coming. Let him know how many people you're bringing with you. rustforamerica@gmail.com. rustforamerica@gmail.com. All right, speaking of Double D's, they're open. It's Wednesday through Saturday. Double D Southern Barbecue in Clayton. Open Wednesday through Saturday. Last I checked, Thursday is between Wednesday and Saturday. They're open for lunch. They're open for dinner. Authentic wood-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. It's Thursday. Specials each day. Thursday is the loaded baked potato day. And our old pal C Mills was out there last night. Got the wings. It was wing day. The potato salad. I've heard a lot of great things about the soda fountain out there at Double D's too. Ribs, brisket, and more. If you're looking for something different, check it out. Double D's Barbecue, ddbbq317.com, ddbbq317.com. That is the website. Owners, Tina and Dennis, they're amazing. We love those guys. They've been so good to us. They're huge fans of our show. Thanks to our friends at Double D's Barbecue. Check them out for lunch or dinner on 40 there in Clayton. Okay. Midterms right around the corner, and trying to figure out one of the great mysteries, and we talked about this earlier. One of the great mysteries is, where is the public at? Because every tangible thing we see should tell us that the Republicans are going to struggle. And yet, up until now, polling has showed, yes, the Democrats are ahead, but not nearly as much as they should be. Then that leads us to yesterday, in which Emerson College Polling, that's a pretty known firm. They're always involved in all the, traditional midterm presidential polling, have the Democrats with an 11-point lead over Republicans on a generic congressional ballot. So what that means is, I call you, I work for Emerson, or, you get the text message or however they're doing it. And it's all things being equal, no names, Democrat versus Republican, who you voting for Congress. Now that's, as we know, not actually how it works. People have names, people have records. There are issues in communities that shape elections. There are issues in areas. There are issues in states. One of the things that's going to be fascinating to me about our elections this year is, can the Democrats, look, I don't think they're winning any of the 7 Republican congressional seats, but can the Democrats garner enough momentum to win enough House and Senate seats to break the Republican supermajorities? They're not going to get the majorities back. Nobody believes that. But can, in these bluing areas such as Zionsville and Carmel, can they get enough support to break the Republican supermajorities? And how much does being at the top of the ticket help them? And what does Ballard do to these down ballot races? Do people who vote for Ballard Will they just vote for Ballard and then leave? Will they vote for Ballard in protest and then be like, all right, if I'm a protest voter, I'm voting against all incumbents? It's going to be very interesting to me how that affects. But this poll from Emerson across the country said, take the names out of it, generic ballot, Republican versus Democrat, who you got. And by 11%, 53 to 42, voters said Democrat. Spencer Kimball, executive director of Emerson College Polling, said that women voters break for Democrats by a 27-point margin. That is the lead in this poll. The lead is because women voters by 27 points said they're voting for the Democrat. Men were more split, according to Emerson College Polling. They only favor the Democrats by a 5-point margin. Now, it is of note that this is more favorable to the Democrats than other polls we have seen. Pollster Nate Silver, you may remember, he's been around forever. He's done the aggregate of polling and looking at polling and weighting them and trying to determine where things are. He only has the Democrats on average with a 6-point lead, 48 to 42. Decision Desk headquarters polling averages put the Democrats at only up roughly 4 points, 46 to 42. By the way, Decision Desk headquarters polling projects that would put the Democrats with a 224-211 advantage in the House and a 50-50 split in the Senate. So this 11-point deal, and by the way, I think in 2018, the projection was like Democrat +6 or +7, and that got you the Democrats overwhelmingly taking the House. However, Republicans actually gained seats in the Senate that year. So the 11 appears to be an outlier. However, Emerson College is a known polling. It'll be interesting to see if polling trends to continue to go in that direction. The question the Republicans, if you're a Republican person, if you're a Republican, well, I guess office holder or Republican candidate, what's your message going to be to get people to vote for you? Indiana's still a Republican enough state that other than the Secretary of State's race and then some of these bluing Democrat areas around central Indiana, I don't see huge pickups for the Democrats. I think they might be able to break the supermajority, maybe. Although if you, whatever the numbers, I think they got to get 4 of 6 contested races or something like that. It's going to be tough, but they might be able to do it. But I don't see like the rest of the state moving Democrat. I think the Secretary of State's race is an outlier because of the name of the candidate and their problems the Republicans have had with that office, and now Ballard's in the soup. So the Republicans aren't going to have to justify themselves like they may in other more swing states. But what do you run on? What do you say, vote for me because? What's your message to the populace about how Republicans have governed to say, hey, you're going to need more of that? We've made your lives so much better by fill in the blank. Fear's a powerful thing, but it can only take you so far. And that's what the Republicans appear to be running on right now, is the fear of the communists, the Democrats, socialists, etc. What's the message that's going to deliver people to vote for you? And I think the Republicans are really going to struggle with that, and they're going to have to craft something in the next couple months. And the longer the Iran stuff goes on, and the longer gas prices remain high, they're not fixing overall prices, period. They've had their opportunity to do it, and that ship has sailed. I think that's going to be a really, really tough sell. All right, we're going to take our final break. Hour 3 brought to you by John Rustin. We're taking the whole thing home. There was a massive, massive issue with voter fraud, with illegal voting, I should say. Illegals voting, I should say. people illegally voting. How about that? I'll settle on that one. People illegally voting in New Jersey. It's a huge story, and it really should be what the Republicans use to try to drive the SAVE Act through. We want to tell you about that. That's a massive issue. And then we're going to get to the best YouTube comments of the day, brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. We got so much to get to. Don't go anywhere. You're watching The Rob Kendall Show.
I'm Anthony Gary. I started Indy Dwell Real Estate because too many friends, family members, and neighbors had real estate experiences that lacked compassion, explanation, and expertise. You deserve someone in your corner with the heart of a teacher, simplifying every step of the buying or selling process. When you hire me, you get me. Start to finish, you'll never be handed off. No stress, no surprises, just the expert guidance and results you deserve. Anthony Gary, Indy Dwell Real Estate. Call or text 317-756-1159. 317-756-1159.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance, so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
With a lakefront view in beautiful Brazil, the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage is a little out of the way, but totally worth the trip. Down home, made from scratch food, just like the good old days at Grandma's. When you visit the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage, you'll leave more at peace than when you came in. Open 5 to 8 for dinner on Friday and Saturday, and Sundays 11 to 1:30 for the buffet. You must experience the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage. Call 812-443-3003. 812-443-3003. Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. We're going the rest of the way. 50 minutes. 50 minutes of great local programming you're not going to find anywhere else, thanks to our friend John Rust. All right, got to talk about what happened in New Jersey, because this is a massive deal, and the Republicans should be all over this, using this as the mechanism to get the SAVE Act passed. Before we do that, though, got to tell you about our friends at Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage. We love Jody. We love Andy. They've been with me for a long time with State House Happenings, and now here at the Rob Kendall Show. Andy, of course, made our sign. They are just wonderful people, and they love what we do, and they've been behind us forever, and we can't thank them enough. Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage, of course, they're open Friday and Saturday and Sunday for Friday and Saturday for dinner, Sunday for the brunch buffet. They've also got the cottage, though. And if you've been thinking about getting a weekend away, but you're like, man, I hate to travel, I don't want to go far, the cottage is a place for you guys. It's amazing. I've been in there before. It's outstanding. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths with spa-like tile showers, full kitchen, living room with a fireplace, laundry facilities, and a full deck overlooking the lake. And then you can have dinner or brunch right there at the restaurant. It is great. If you're looking for a weekend away, but you don't want to go far, you want to be able to get home, you don't want to travel, check it out. It's in Brazil, all the property right there on the water, in the woods. It's amazing. You'll love it. It's beautiful. Oh, and best part, Andy delivers breakfast in a picnic basket at 8:30 each morning when you stay at the cottage. Perfect weekend away, scenic Honeysuckle Hill property on the water in beautiful Brazil. You can book by visiting their website. Just Google Honeysuckle Hill Bistro, or you can call 812-443-3003, 812-443-3003. Don't forget to help us out if you haven't done so yet. Hit that little thumbs up button. Like the program. It really helps us grow. All right, so there is this massive story that has come out about illegal voting taking place in New Jersey. And the New Jersey state government now, they're trying to, undercut this, that it's not a huge deal. It is. And it really should be the firepower that the Republicans need. And when I say firepower, it's not even to the American people. It's to the people in their own party to get the SAVE Act across the finish line, or at least the key components of it. And there's an old saying. It actually goes back to professional wrestling. I don't know if you guys know this or not. Professional wrestling is scripted. I know. If there's one of you out there that I did not know, I'm sorry to break that to you, but the outcome is predetermined. People say it's fake. It's not fake. Guys get hurt all the time. They do crazy stuff. They get injured. There are real injuries in pro wrestling, but the outcome is predetermined. And it's scripted, right? There's a format for what's going to take place. And there's an old saying in pro wrestling, and it applies in politics too. If you confuse them, you lose them. It means the audience wants to go on a ride. The audience wants to be entertained. The audience wants suspense, but the audience wants to understand what's going on. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. If you confuse them, you lose them. It's why I've told you guys, and many people who've run for public office have used this over the years, and I said, Rob, you're right. That's why I've said elections are door hanger elections. When people think of you as a candidate or a cause or whatever, you want them to think of 3 or 4 things. And every question you get asked, and every event you're at, and every speech you give, you got to pivot back to those 3 or 4 things, and you're going to ride or die with those 3 or 4 things. And whenever somebody thinks of you, I'm voting for so-and-so because, oh yeah, he's the whatever guy, the property tax reform guy, or the whatever, utility bill guy, or whatever it might be. Same thing with the referendums. You got to find, my advice to people is always, you got to find the 3 or 4 most egregious things about the referendum, and you go with them. And you don't get off of them, and you come back to them. If they got a swimming pool in there or a scoreboard in there, or you just bam, 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 bam. You want all these people you want them to think, should my taxes go up to pay for that? You always operate from a position of strength, and the position of strength are the issues that work best for you. You don't talk about the other guy's stuff that he wants to talk about. You talk about what you want to talk about. And it comes back to, if you confuse them, you lose them. If you get on too many different topics, if you get on too many different things, you're going to lose people. And I think one of the things that's happened with this SAVE Act is the Republicans have violated that rule. And here's what I mean by it. Polling shows people overwhelmingly support voter ID. Blacks, whites, women, men. There is big support for showing an ID when you vote. Why? Because the sales pitch is, and people get it, you're not protecting yourself, you're protecting me. You're protecting other people. Making everyone show an ID is protecting everyone else. And the sanctity, the sacredness, the secureness of their vote. You have huge support for it. There's also support for ensuring that people are citizens in order to vote. Those two things are freebies. When you start adding other stuff to it, you start losing the block. It's like the thing the Republicans did or doing now with the stock trading ban. They're tying absentee voting reforms to it. Well, that's just going to piss people off because not everybody's for reforms of absentee voting. I think absentee voting is too long. I think early voting is too long. But it's something you can deal with later. The big issue, the issue by which you have universal support or near universal support is voter ID. Go with that. Get the win. Take the freebie. Now, again, I think that they're attaching this absentee voting stuff to the stock trading ban because they don't want it to pass. But what's happened now, because there have been so many versions of the SAVE Act, so many different ones have passed at different times, because they've added this or taken that out or gone with this or now this is back in. People don't even know what the bill is anymore. Look, I'm as into this as any person, and I struggle to know what it is actually now because so many different versions have passed, and this is in a reconciliation bill, and this is in that bill, and this is that. I don't know. If you confuse them, you lose them, and they've confused the American public by making it more difficult to understand what's going on. I'm confused. And if I'm confused, I guarantee most other people are confused. But there does need to be a passing that you have to show an ID to vote in this country, and you have to prove you're a citizen, which generally ties into the ID. And here's another example of why this needs to be done. According to WTHR, about 6,000 people who indicated they were non-citizens while obtaining New Jersey driver's licenses and other state IDs were improperly registered to vote in 2023 and 2024. Governor Mickey Sherrill said Tuesday, 6,600 people who are not citizens were registered to vote. That's a lot of people. The Democratic governor who took office this year blamed a Motor Vehicle Commission system software error, but said a preliminary analysis showed that fewer than 400 of those who registered that way went on to cast ballots. I don't believe that for a second. Hey, we couldn't register anybody properly, or we registered, in this case, thousands of people who weren't supposed to be registered. But trust us when we tell you less than 400 of them actually voted. And does it make it any better that it was 400? Sherrill promised immediate action and said she had ordered that all erroneously added voter registrations from the period be removed. She's also replacing the vendor who ran the system. She is also replacing the vendor who ran the system and is launching an investigation into how the error happened. Yeah. Doesn't do us any good now, does it? It's already happened. Oops. Quote, I'm appalled by the reckless failures that allowed this to happen and the lack of transparency shown by those in charge at the time. She also then had to get in there that she wanted to make sure she didn't get criticized by Trump. As the Trump administration tries to weaponize elections for political gain, I am ensuring we protect our elections. Well, the people before you clearly didn't, lady. Now, last week, remember when Trump gave the big thing about China hijacking the voter information? The Department of Homeland Security had an investigation which said it identified about 278,000 non-citizens registered to vote, and most of them came from California, Nevada, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Now, Trump administration trying to say that report is what got New Jersey to do this investigation. New Jersey is among 19 states that allow people who are in the U.S. illegally to hold driver's license and other state-issued ID cards. Why in the hell would you let someone who is in the country illegally? We're not talking about someone who's here temporarily. We're not talking about someone who's here to work and's gone through the process. But why the hell would you allow someone in the country illegally, you know has broken the law, to hold a driver's license or any state-issued ID? You're asking for this. See, no sympathy for this woman. No sympathy for New Jersey. Because when you give people IDs who are illegally in the country, you're begging them to do this. You're opening the door for it to happen. Every state allows non-citizens who have legal status in the U.S. to hold a driver's license. We learned that from Diego's non-citizen that he had that elevated to his chief of staff, who we still haven't found. Where is Alina Cupsey? Where the hell did she go? Who goes from being a deputy chief of staff for the Secretary of State to disappeared? Where is this woman? And why did we just allow her to just disappear without finding out where she went to? Remember, she had a driver's license. And she allegedly registered to vote at one point. So we know that all the states allow people with legal status in the U.S. to have a driver's license. That's not that conversation. This is a conversation about how people illegally in the country are allowed to obtain driver's licenses and other state-issued ID cards. When you do that, you are essentially begging for this stuff to happen. You're begging for it to happen. Just egregious. Look, the Republicans have got to do a better job of selling to the American people. Sales are about relationships. Relationships are about trust, and trust is built on understanding. It's pretty simple. Sales are about relationships. Relationships are about trust, and trust is about understanding. It's one of the reasons we're doing this now and nobody else could. We have a trust factor with you, the audience. And almost every one of our advertisers is someone that's been a part of our audience over the years. They know what they're getting. They know they can trust what we do here. We're going to show up. We're going to work hard. We're going to promote their product. They know the program. Nobody else could do this, and it's why it's been successful. Some people probably didn't anticipate it being this successful. Relationships are about trust. Selling is about trust. Trust is about understanding. And right now, the American people don't know what the bill is. They don't know what's in it. There's been too many versions of it. It's been a horrible sales job. They should have kissed. Keep it simple, stupid. And I told you guys this months ago. Remember on this very show when this is going forward, I said it's not going to work because there's too much stuff in it. And I've been exactly right. Elections are the same way. You come up with 3 or 4 things, you hammer those home, you never get off. When I think of you, I think of blank when I'm voting. You stand for ta-da. Keep it simple, stupid. Somebody who's all about trust and keeping it simple, stupid? Well, he doesn't call you stupid. Let me be clear, this sponsor has never used the word stupid to describe anyone. It's Anthony Gary, our friend at IndyDwell Real Estate. My point is he keeps the process simple for you. He doesn't just show you houses. He finds you homes with everything you're looking for, explains the options, and gets you an offer accepted without you losing sleep or sanity. Keep it simple, but you're not stupid. Anthony Gary, IndyDwell Real Estate. You're never going to be handed off to an administrator. You get Anthony from start to finish. He's an expert negotiator ready to help you achieve your real estate goals. Put Anthony's expert buying experience and strategy to work for you. Look, we know the guy's clearly into details, right? Look at how he laid out the referendum stuff for you the other day. Call or text Anthony. Just thank him for sponsoring the show if you would. I know he'll appreciate that. Even if you don't need to buy or sell a house. Just say, hey, I enjoyed the segment with you and Rob. Thanks for sponsoring the show. When I need the service, I'm going to call you. 317-756-1159. 317-756-1159. 317-756-1159. Anthony Gary, Indy Dwell Real Estate. And with that, it's time for you to become the star of the program, where we read the best YouTube comments of the day, brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. Let me remind everybody how this works in case you're new. In order to participate in the YouTube chat each day, you have to be a subscriber to the channel. Once you have subscribed to the channel, then you can get in there and chat with hundreds of other people who participate in this program every single day, who watch this program every single day. And at the end of the day, end of the show, producer Jason takes the best comments, the most intriguing comments, and he reads them back to me to prompt further conversation about topics we've discussed about today. And then at the end of the show, who's ever been the most active of all the chatters gets their name read. There's a list, right?
That's right. The top 10.
Hello, Jason.
Hello, Rob. This chat brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. If your water heater, water softener, well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John was in the chat earlier today. Black Sheep Plumbing can do the job right at a fraction of the cost of the big guys. And Black Sheep Plumbing says thank you to all military, firefighters, and police officers with an American Heroes discount. Text or call John at Black Sheep Plumbing, 765-315-7558. One more time, 765-315-7558. Black Sheep Plumbing. There we go.
Had a panic last night.
Oh?
I don't think this is a big deal, but it's where the OCD in me takes over.
Oh, yeah.
So my kid's out playing, in the backyard.
Mm-hmm. They do that.
My mom gave her a quarter. She's got the quarter in her possession. She loves money.
Uh-oh.
She says, my money, my money.
She knows not to eat money?
Well, she knows not to eat the money.
Okay, good.
Well, she knows now, not after yesterday. Before that, we had an issue with putting the money in our mouth, but she knows not to do that. But she walks up to the air conditioner, the backyard. She drops the quarter in the air conditioner. And so
Dad just helping with the electric bill.
Well, it goes, and I see it. It's like at the bottom of the air conditioner, right? I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking to myself, okay, it's on the ground. It's a big deal. But I don't know how the air conditioner works. I'm not worried about the blade getting it, but could it get sucked into something?
Yeah, I think you're all right.
Well, I thought it was no big deal, but then I looked it up, and the internet told me there's high risk.
Oh, it's a thing.
It's a thing. Well, I don't know if it's a thing. Like logically, to me, it wouldn't be a thing because there's leaves down there and everything else, right? So I'm thinking, how big a deal could this be?
Right.
But it said it could get sucked into something, whatever, high risk.
Yeah.
It says you got to turn the thing off.
Oh.
You got to call a repairman.
Oh, of course. Who are you going to call?
I call my dad.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'll be right over. First, he said it's not a big deal. And then I called him back, and I was like, it is a big deal.
Dad, AI says it's a big deal. The
like,
data center said.
And I can tell in his voice, he's not happy.
Right.
But he knows I'm not going to let it go now in my mind, because in my mind, it's a big deal. So he's like, all right, I'll be right over.
Right.
He goes over, and he's got one of these claw things that he's
prepared.
Like he had a magnet, and that didn't work.
One day you'll be a dad. You'll need to be able to do all that stuff.
He's a magnet thing that pull the quarter out. That didn't work. I guess the quarter is not actual metal.
No, they're not metal.
I thought they were metal.
You don't know a magnet will not suck up money.
I did not know that. I thought I thought the quarter was metal.
You and Libby both learning together.
But it's not. So that didn't work. I'm like, oh crap. Then he has this extender thing that he puts down. It's got a claw on it, and it sucked it up.
Right.
And then bam, got it out.
Ooh, we need to get you one of those.
And then right after that, the air conditioner came back on. Just right after, I was like,
Dad to the rescue. One day.
I was like, shouldn't we have turned that off? He's like, probably. But I think because it was cool yesterday, the air conditioner wasn't going to work.
Oh, yeah.
But right after that, it came back on and put it back.
Did he raise an eyebrow like, why wasn't it turned off?
No, I told him. I said, I think we should turn the thing off.
Oh,
and he just proceeded to keep going.
One day, Libby's going to be calling you as Dad and say, Dad, I dropped a quarter in the air conditioner.
Hopefully, we'll have an air conditioner sponsor by then.
That's how you learn things.
That's what we'll do. I don't fix things.
So last night, number one in the chat.
Yes.
Producer Jason.
Oh, you were number one?
I was number one
in
in
your
the
own
chat.
chat.
We started the chat a little late yesterday, but I hopped in and made my presence known, and it was, actually, I was tied with everybody, top 5 people. MLM Warriors, Rock Laws, Josh Richardson, and Kevin Branham all having a chat fest last night.
There was a lot of chatting. I saw it.
If you missed it, you should have been there.
Yeah.
They're wondering, when will Rob ever pop into the chat?
I do not pop in the chat.
You don't pop in the chat?
I'm not a chatter. That's your place.
Well, it's
I
your
look
show, but yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like I do the show. You then read the chat. I respond to the chat. It's their world. I don't want to invade their world. That's their world. They have their own thing going. I appreciate that. I respect it. I enjoy it. I enjoy hearing about it. I don't, it's like their home.
I'm not sure who was first in the chat yesterday. I always look at that, then I forget. Somebody, I think, took a screenshot to prove that I was there. So I think it might have been, no, I'm not even going to say because I'll probably be wrong. But today it was the Old Man 68. Happy Thursday, everyone. That's how I know what day of the week we're on. Reading the Old Man 68.
Old man.
The temps have cooled outside, but Rob and producer Jason will have things heating up like always with another epic show.
Yesterday was the perfect day, like weather-wise. Perfect day.
You're the chat stalker. They think you pop in and you're watching, like you're hovering and watching, because it shows how many people are in the chat, but it doesn't, like if there's 4 people talking and it says 5 people in the chat, they know somebody's lurking.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Could it be Todd? Could it be Rob? Didn't mean to cut you off there, but
yeah, no, that's fine.
Oh, Josh Richardson. Pretty cool that producer Jason joined us in the chat last night.
It's like a celebrity.
Yeah, I did. I didn't chat a lot, but I saw they were there and thought, hey.
By the way, we should remind everybody.
Dine and dash,
You have a Facebook page.
I do. Producer Jason on Facebook, and I've been hovering around 187 followers. So I'd really like to pop that up to 200 just for posterity's sake. So if you have not followed me on Facebook, you can find Producer Jason. It's a page. I think you have to look up pages. Look up a page, find Producer Jason, and once every 3 weeks I might post something. But you can say you're a follower.
Well, and you can snooze him. You don't have to actually see it. Just get him the number.
Yeah, I'd rather you not snooze me.
Be good for his morale.
Yeah. Kevin Branham, Jason was chatting with us last night. He was the top chatter until he had to go. Yes, I had to go.
I had
to go do my laundry and
I have to go.
My shirts because it's self-service at my house. Josh Richardson, didn't you, Kevin, or someone take a screenshot of that? We don't need proof I was there. I think we'll take my word for it. Driver, it was before I got on, so 6 to 7:30 time frame. I think he was later, maybe 6:50.
So you were like in the chat talking to the people.
Yeah, it wasn't long. It was just
right.
there for a few minutes, and I enjoyed it. No, I need to start going back. We need to start getting it posted at 6 o'clock though, because they're starting to set their clock to it. So Rob, you got to start getting me the title before 6 o'clock. And I know that I can put it up there and then change the title later, but I don't think it actually changes the title when you then share the YouTube like you do every day, a couple times a day. It would just say Rob Kendall at 9 a.m. or something. So I wait for Rob to give me the title, and he doesn't actually start going through his stuff until after the young one is to bed. I understand that. So I just kind of casually, whenever you can get to it, shoot me the title. And
here's how my day works. I don't mind disclosing this to you people. I obviously come here, do the show. Usually I wake up about 5:45. I try to scour all the various news outlets to see if there were new. A lot of these outlets will post news stories like the Capitol Chronicle, the Star, to get you to look forward to something in the morning. So I'll check those, take the Pee-wee to daycare, come home, come here, do the thing, go home. Usually from about 2 to 4:30, I'll invest back in the show. Then basically from 5 till 8:30. See, it's summertime, so you can't fool the kid into going to sleep while it's sunlight out.
Oh, right.
Winter, it's pretty easy, right?
Right.
It's dark. You go to bed.
Right.
But then I start
blackout
back up.
curtains.
I do try to visit with my wife every so often, since
Yeah, she probably enjoys that every now and then.
And then I will work till midnight or so a lot of times getting the stuff ready. But it's hard for me to tell you what it's 6 because I haven't looked at anything. I don't know.
Oh, I got you. Well, I'll just keep reminding you. MLM Warriors National Vanilla Ice Cream Day is observed annually on July 23rd.
It's vanilla ice cream day?
Vanilla ice cream.
Okay.
Yes, vanilla.
Yeah.
Very bland, very vanilla. Vanilla. I like vanilla. Rock Laws, it was neat. Jason joined us in the chat. Okay, let's see. Rock Laws, great to see the Fever smoke Connecticut. Fever won last night. I'm assuming you watched that, Rob.
I saw Caitlin Clark got a tech one more and she's out.
Yeah, well, only for a game, but, she's fiery. She got, I don't know, she had like... I think they got a record for the most points scored in a game last night, 125 perhaps, something like that. They've won the last 3, the last 5 out of 6. And
are the tickets still like $1 gajillion to go see
I don't think
Fever?
they're $1 gajillion, but I'm pretty sure they still sell out. So if you wanted to get one, you'd have to buy one from an agency, and that would probably be higher than seat value, I would guess. But I don't think they're going for the several thousand they used to go
Can you scalp tickets anymore since there aren't, can you buy tickets off the street?
There's probably not any available because the agencies have them all now.
Because remember,
I'm not sure.
Be,
I would imagine.
I got 3
They
tickets.
used to have the laws about that. I'm not sure if they still have those laws anymore, which I never understood because you're just out there selling your ticket.
I'm sure they did that to protect the ticket master people or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
They
those
give
ticket master lobbyists. Yeah. Oh,
do they have lobbyists?
Right.
I would guess they do.
Everybody's got a lobbyist because, of course, lawmakers don't read the bill, so they have to have somebody explain it to them. So that would be the lobbyist.
Because that used to be like every state was different on whether some guy could sell tickets out legally.
You should get Todd Young in here and ask him that.
Maybe Todd will come on our show.
Yeah. Okay. So there we go. Oh, what's that? Kenneth Eagold. Good morning, everyone. The only good news that I got from the assessor, he had an appointment with the assessor yesterday.
Yes.
The only good news I got from the assessor was that I can file for an over 65 credit after my birthday in November. I will send Rob details later. More details.
Problem with that is it's
doesn't sound like Kenneth was all that thrilled with his meeting with the assessor.
Tied to income.
Oh, well, he probably makes $1 gajillion.
With the tow truck.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty wild. Ken's almost 65 and he's out plowing people around.
I'm cutting Peyton's head off. My box is...
Oh, yeah.
Cutting.
It's still
sorry,
there.
Peyton.
Yeah, for those of you watching on the YouTube, for those
I got tired of looking at those wrestlers, so I threw Peyton up there today.
Every day I'm like going to bring stuff from home, and then I just forget.
Yeah, that's why I threw Peyton in there. But sorry to cut your head off, Peyton. Okay, let's see. Continuing on. Now let's get to some actual topics out there. How about that? Let's see. 3-day weekend by C. Mills. Oh, C. Mills got a 3-day weekend.
Oh, good for him.
Going to visit his niece in Nebraska.
Oh, how exciting.
Quite the traveler
so that's
there.
C. Mills.
Yeah, that's C. Mills.
C. Mills was, you remember so C. Mills went to Double D's last night for the wings and the potato salad.
Mm-hmm.
And then he ran across remember the food truck people who got banned from the state house because their slogan was, put our meat in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a big art. This I'm not trying to be crass. This is like a huge statewide story.
Right.
Those guys were at wherever he was, and even though he'd already eaten at Double D's, he was like, he told me, I'm not going to miss a chance to have a burger.
Somebody's meat in my mouth
from the people who's like, put our meat in your mouth, and so he bought it, and he said the food was really good.
Mm-hmm. You'd think he'd be a much bigger guy.
Yeah, C. Mills is not a big guy.
He's not at all. All right, here we go. Spray jockey. When the gas tax comes back, it's going to go over like a lead balloon. $134 to fill up lawnmowers right now. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Well, how's Braun going to worm out of that?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when he's proposing spending $200 million for more people to have free daycare.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you beat me to C. Mills' comment. So the place that got kicked out of the State House market for saying you'll love our meat in your mouth, was at the Plainfield Farmers Market last night. That's where C. Mills was, and
that's where he saw. That's where he went to Double D's.
Oh, okay, and then he had to stop and get some. He had to eat more.
Yeah, he was like, I already ate, but it looks so good. I wasn't going to miss a chance to do it, so I got it.
All right, the old man 68. If you are an elected government official, you shouldn't be allowed to trade stocks outside of the TSP plan they've afforded, meaning your 401k or whatever they get there. So now we're on to an actual topic here of the stock trading.
Yeah. Look, Spendingberg's right on that. Todd Young's all over that. He's totally correct. Whatever issues you got on the other stuff, which is fine. I'm right there with you on a bunch of it, but he's totally right on the stock trading stuff, and he's been very vocal about that.
Oh, I've dropped to number 22 on the top fans ranking. I'm out of the top 20.
Uh-oh.
Dang it. Oh, well, I'll have to try harder next time. MLM Warriors, Rob, you said nothing happens to them regarding insider trading. It does. They gain more money.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Right.
Sue Seifert. Morning, everyone. They passed banning stock trading. Now we'll find out all the loopholes they wrote in that makes that statement false. I hate these people, she says.
I don't think it's going to pass the Senate. I think the reason they put that thing with the voting in is so the senators won't vote for it. And then they can say, well, we tried, the Senate guys. Well, so we'll just keep doing our insider trading.
Joseph Norris, it's the only motivation for almost all people wanting to get elected, enriching themselves and long-term benefits for life, and to hell with the constituents. Driver 4562. Wait, Rob. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Wait. Rob is agreeing with Todd Young ad. Did I step into an alternate dimension? Is he still a Marine here, too? Yes, Todd is still a Marine, and Rob does agree with Todd on a topic.
Here would be the issue if I had Young on, is I wholeheartedly agree with him on the stock trading stuff. So we would agree on that. That'd be fine. Then we'd have to get into it on the spending, though, and I'm not sure he wants to get into it on the spending, because there's no way I could, have him on and not, after all these years, and not go at him with it on the spending, which he should want to do because he's spent the money. It's not like I'm making up stuff that he hasn't done. He told me at that room full of people he was never going to stop spending the money. But there's no way I could have him on and not go at him on the spending, and I'm not sure he'd want to do that.
We'll see. Maybe. You never know. All right.
He should, though. He'd win a lot of support.
Yes, he would. He would.
Because people are looking for these politicians to man up and say, you know what? I don't like you and you don't like me, but we're going to have the conversation. We're going to throw
Let's
it
hear
down.
You speak in a normal language, have a conversation, and not just be all advertising and sound bites.
Right.
I think that's what
maybe he'll do it. I don't know.
See.
We'll see.
Yeah, the offer is there. Okay, Chris Chafin. Dems didn't support the bill because there was a bill attached to the stock trading bill. So the vote was for two bills, not the standalone stock trading bill, which you did cover.
That's correct.
All right.
And I think they did that deliberately.
All right. Josh Richardson. Now let's have term limits. Let's see how much traction that gains. You will not get out of the starting gate with that. Unless you put it on a referendum. All right. The old man 68. They will never submit a clean bill because if they did, they wouldn't be able to justify voting against it.
Yep.
Ethan Hatcher. Professional office hopper Aaron Houchin supports the ban on stock trading too. Had her soundbite, right?
Think about that. I said something nice about Todd Young and Aaron Houchin and Joe Hogsett in the same show today.
Are you going to go play golf with all these people next, Rob?
See how fair I am. See, I get all sorts of crap from people. Rob said this, and you guys do the right stuff. I'll say nice things about you. And I have no bias to anyone other than on behalf of my audience, do the right thing for them. That's it. That's my bias.
There you go. Steve Green with an E. Attaching anything to do with voting to any bill will guarantee it won't become law. John Rust. The stock trading ban was all for show, more chest thumping, but it won't pass. On purpose by the Republican leadership. All for show, folks. Yep. Hot take there.
Rust, you got to run for Senate.
Yes.
Jay Hart was in here the other day, and I guess they didn't find anybody. He was talking about that group started. Rust, you got to do it, or governor or something.
Speaking of Aaron Houchin, driver. Did she stay long enough to finish her speech, or did she cut out too early?
Okay.
That was a good one.
I assume most people know this because most of you are long-term time fans. We have new people come in all the time. The reason I call her professional office hopper is because she ran for Congress in 2016, and she lost when Trey Hollingsworth won. She's then in the state Senate. Hollingsworth decided he was not running again. In the middle of the session, she announces that she's quitting the Senate. And she was, at the time, as I recall, she was quite candid. She was quitting because it was in her being a senator was interfering in her ability to run for Congress. Like, I have to be at the Senate.
Right.
So I can't run for Congress. And so she quit. Well, because she quit in the middle of the session, there was no time for a special caucus. So her constituents just went without representation in the middle of the session. What else do you call that if your lust for an office is so great that you quit on your constituents in the middle of the session other than a professional office hopper? What else am I supposed to call that?
That's whatever you called it, Rob.
Thank you. That's the story.
The old man, 68. Speaking of the economy, does anyone know why gas prices have risen 39 cents over the past week?
Price of oil has skyrocketed since Trump basically admitted the MOU
his
was
2-week
crap.
war started. Chris Chafin, Iran war, inflation, utilities up 18% when Trump ignorantly said he'd cut it in half. Yeah, do not say. Steve Green with an E. Somebody needs to pull Trump aside and tell him he's screwing the pooch and the party.
Yeah, Trump don't care about the party. That's the problem. And one of the issues with the party is now it's so connected to Trump. Like there's no, all these people have run on Trump, with Trump, begged for Trump's endorsement. You can't now undo that. So goes Trump, so goes the party. There's no separation.
Spray Jockey wants an update. Did Rob ever get called for an interview from his old job? I think he would be an ideal candidate.
I did not.
That's in the rearview mirror.
I did not get a call. And look, things are going very well over there, clearly. So why would they even want to call me?
Yes, that is correct. I think that's in the rearview mirror for all of us, all parties involved. Sue Seifert, this administration had so much potential, and clearly they either all lied before or made a drastic change due to the circumstances, quote unquote. Such a huge disappointment and horrifying as we fall over the cliff.
Yeah, one of the major issues with Trump failing is it's going to open the door for these maniacs to get in there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the next
Boy, if Debs
step.
just had a normal person, they could, the last 2 or 3 elections, if they'd just had a normal person, but nope, can't do that.
But you can make that argument at the state level, too. Like, they keep nominating. This is why Biden.
Kind of like the libertarians. It's like,
well, look at who they've been. Destiny Wells, the idiot woman who ran for governor, Jennifer McCormick. I mean, I remember, you guys probably remember this, many of the old radio show. We had McCormick on, and she was like super normal for the first 10 minutes. And then we got into the abortion stuff, and she just fell apart.
Well,
and it was like
they've got to pass the litmus test. I mean, look at the guy in what was he, San Francisco or what have you, that was run off.
Because of the
he's a trans, but he's not trans enough.
He's a supporter of the trans. He was not a trans.
Right. He was a
supporter of the trans. But somebody said something about Gaza.
I thought he was transitioning.
No, he's running for Nancy Pelosi's seat.
Looked like he was transitioning.
Well, that's your opinion. I have no.
I thought it was fact.
No, it is not. He is a guy. Is my understanding. Maybe I'm wrong. But no, my understanding is he's a guy. He's a big supporter of the trans community. He's a state senator, I think he was, running for Congress for Nancy Pelosi's seat. And I don't even still to this day know what he did, but he said something about Gaza that made the Gaza or Israel or something that made the Gaza people mad, and they were berating him, following him around that event, screaming at him, and the guy's like super liberal, and he wasn't 100% or whatever.
Right. Didn't want to kill all the Jews, so they apparently he's not qualified to run as a Democrat.
I don't know what the deal was, and it's like, but those are your friends, so good luck.
Sue Seifert, so Trump will end up taking over Carter's place in history, it seems. That would be a pretty tough feat, but he's kind of, geez, last couple months he's on his way.
You got to be the problem with Trump is he has no core values, right? Like there's no, and it's the problem with populism.
He seems to last a couple years, and then it's like his tank goes empty.
Well,
that's all I had.
It's, and this is true in entertainment. How can I miss you if you won't go away? I know I used wrestling earlier, but who was the best example of this? Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, when you would see him, you hadn't seen him for 6 months, and then he'd come back and you'd be like, oh man, the Hulkster's back. And then you realize every match is exactly the same. And 2 weeks later, you'd be like, okay, I've seen this. Go away now. You get boring after a while. You're taking up someone else's spot.
We've annihilated their weaponry.
So it's just like, with Trump, it's like, it just gets exhausting.
Here's a change of topic. Driver, Rob, when are you going to buy another radio station? I can answer that.
Never. That's the answer.
We will use somebody else's.
Yeah, if somebody else wants to give me money, I would.
We'll run
one
it.
for
We'll
them.
do everything you want, but we're not going to buy it. No money from our. No, your money goes to our pocket, not from our pocket.
I have had that. I have had that experience. Look, here's the thing about our life, and I will say this: you and I did a lot of cool stuff together.
Yeah, it was fun,
but
at least we have no student debt.
Well,
right? That's kind of
okay. I could do those things. So Jason and I, Jason was at a point where he was like, had moved into single life after being in the married life and decided he was consistently going to be in the single life. Your son was old enough that, he could take care of himself and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I was in my 20s and very single. I could not do most of those things now where you have to go out and like provide for people because I could live on, as you said, the Domino's pizza for 3 days. You can't.
Yeah, you can't make the tiny tyrant live on cheese.
Child
pizza.
services
She'd
might
probably
frown on
enjoy
that.
the cheese pizza.
But I'm glad we had a lot of those experiences, the good ones and the bad ones.
I think it's why you're here right now with such fame and stardom on the internet, Rob. It all comes down to the point. Okay, Chris Chafin, Rob, Trump struggles with self-esteem. Therefore, he needs attention. I've been that person. It takes therapy. I don't think there'll be any therapy in Donald's future.
I don't even think at 80, Trump's going to go figure it all out.
Right. And then what do we have here? Josh Richardson, unless he finds a way to distance himself. Okay, we're talking about Vance. Steve Green with an E says, J.D. Vance is toast. He's a little too tight at the hip with Trump. Kind of seems like is almost like more of a Don Jr. than Don Jr. is.
Well,
you notice the kids have separated, have not been in the spotlight this time around at all. Now it's like J.D., who I think a lot of people were like, hey, he's going to carry on this Trump tradition and carry on all these great policies economically. But boy, people aren't quite wanting to see that right now.
Well, and the problem is he also, look at the stuff he said about Trump in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you may soften your stance on something like that, but you're not going to, he's never been a Trump
is he going to turn
guy.
into a Pence and just do a 180 and all of a sudden be anti-Trump at the end? And, if there's an impeachment going on hey, if you guys got to impeach him, I mean, we all understand. I'm here to do my job. But
the answer he gave on Rogan about Iran made him look pretty weak.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to be the dude, you can't have admitted I'm totally subservient to someone else. I thought that answer
things were
pretty
going well, whatever your perspective is. He was able to ride that a little bit, and everybody's like, okay, this seems pretty well. It's not like Pence and Trump now. We've got a team here together and all that stuff. But I think a lot of people are on the mark when they say, Rubio, you notice he just kind of sits back, very calm. Every once in a while, he'll crack a smile and a joke, but he's just very calm. He lets the president talk. He lets Vance talk, doesn't step on toes, because when you're the front runner, you never get the job. Until the very end. So I think Rubio's just wanting to stay back and don't include me in any of your shenanigans.
The guy who made the biggest mistake, and I freely admit, I said at the time I thought he should run, so I'm not doing oh, what an idiot, is DeSantis.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like DeSantis was like, okay, this is your moment. You're the popular governor. You can't let some guy dictate what you do. But if DeSantis hadn't run and run so poorly, he would be the guy, because people would be like, oh, what a great guy. We got to get back to governors, whatever. But I don't even know if DeSantis could even, crack anything this time. I don't even know he could run. So because, he was, other than Trump, he was the guy. But didn't run a very good campaign.
Okay, continuing on. Hogsett is 100% running, says C. Mills. He's completely worthless and still needs a job.
Yeah.
He's in his 70s, isn't he? Or is he getting close to 70?
70s, right.
I don't know if you need a job when you're that age. I mean, he's got his retirement plan, his pension and all that. He could just go drink on the beach. And
you never know when the trash can's going to get aggressive again, though, Jason.
Josh Richardson, where else could he actually get a job if he isn't mayor? Well, again, it's kind of difficult to go out when you're 70 and get a job, but he's going to get some sort of, there will be a Democrat. I say Democrat. I mean, there'll be a law firm or somebody. I don't know what he does that.
Who would want to deal with him?
You don't deal with him. You just he's like that position will be a work from home thing where you're like, okay, you're going to give a speech at such and such club. You're going to give a speech at this other place. You're going to just don't talk to the actual people. Just give the speech, have a drink, and go away. And then that firm can say, hey, we've got the, former mayor on our staff, and people, there's always going to be people that go, oh, that's great. I mean, people vote for Andre Carson, and so you've got that group of people. That's what usually happens, I think.
Isn't it weird? I know we're running short of time, but isn't it weird?
No, we're not.
That he has, from the tax thing, because he's done this multiple times now, been pretty steady on that. But yet then on the crime, he's awful. And like the COVID stuff, he was awful. And it's like, how could all of these be the same guy? I don't understand that.
Okay, so Shrog Sandwich. Oh, where is it? Makes a comment, and how would I not have that here? About Hogsett, but then C. Mills comes back with that Shrog. Maybe Hogsett, we're on the air, sorry. Maybe Hogsett should open his own bar, then he can't get fired for drinking on the job. How about that? And Josh Richardson adds, Jim Lucas could stop by for a cocktail.
Jeez. Somebody really wants to talk to you. So
yeah,
you can,
we're on the air. Sorry. Please, you'll have to wait 5 minutes. Almond Joy Tempo.
First time that's happened.
That's the first time it happened. Almond Joy Tempo, rearing my head in the chat like Nessie in the lock, but wanted to show some love and support. Have a great day, y'all. Almond Joy Tempo popping in there. And let's see what else we have here. Shrog Sandwich. Okay, there we go. Todd Young voted yes to merge our intelligence with Israel. I lit his poor secretary up the other day over it. I'll continue to do that until I get a call back.
Yeah.
So that's what you got to do. Keep calling. And then the people, Rubio, Kevin Branham, Rubio's my choice. Josh Richardson, AOC, she will open her mouth, and then they will try to keep her quiet. Her ignorance will come out when she starts running her mouth. You were talking about AOC.
Oh, yes, the polling that showed her.
All right, so we just got a couple here left. C. Mills, Rob, and Jason both love polling. It's just a different kind of poll. Okay. And Josh Richardson clarifies that. Jason does have experience back in the day. All right, that wasn't supposed to be the last comment. Here's the last comment. Debbie Holcomb, it's Potato Day at Double D's Barbecue.
Oh, yes, loaded baked potato day at Double D's. That is the special.
Oh, and one more, Driver. Ever since I was a small boy, my greatest ambition was to be #1 in the comments for the Rob Kendall Show on YouTube. Let's see if he made it.
Oh, yeah, we got a top 10 list here.
That's right, the top 10, first of all. That's right. We where are we at here? I did not make the top 10. Debbie Holcomb with 225 points. Also, Mad Duck with 225 points. Number 8, the old man, 250 points. Number 7, C. Mills, also 250. Steve Green with an E, 300 points at number 6. Rock Laws, number 5 with 525. Number 4, we got these points are like jacking up here now that they realize there's a competition going on. Number 4 is Kevin Branham with 600 points. Number 3, Josh Richardson, 650 points. Oh, we got a tie for number 1, 2, and 3.
Oh.
That would be Josh Richardson, number 3, Driver, number 2, number 1. And I'm not sure how they decide who is number 1 with the same number of points, I believe, if you get there first. And that would be MLM Warriors. There we go. And I think I figured this out now. MLM Warriors is the guy that figures all this stuff out and then types in, hey, here's how you do this or whatever. You don't just get massive, you don't rack up points for all the, you can't just comment constantly and rack up points. I think it's something where it's every 5 to 10 minutes, if you comment, and then it goes by 25 points at a time.
Oh, okay.
So I think after about 10 minutes when you make a comment, you get 25 points. Another 10 minutes, you get something it's not just a massive amount of if you break a sentence up into 10 different posts, you don't get extra points for all that, and you might get deducted. I don't know. Anyway, that's how I believe. I could look it up, but
mystery's part of the fun.
I prefer just to give my opinion on how things work, and if somebody can change that with actual facts, then I'll secede.
No, mystery's part of the fun. Just leave it the way it is.
All right, so the chat brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. We do appreciate it, John. Love you, and John Rust as well. And that'll do it for me. We'll see you tomorrow for Friday's chat. So long, everybody.
Hey, guys, masonry color mismatch, previous repair catching your eye. If you're not happy with the brick color on your home and ready for a total makeover, Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants offer specialized masonry staining and recoloring. Whether you want to seamlessly blend in repairs or completely transform your home's exterior. Want to build something new? Braun Mackay's 40-year Master Masons design and construct custom patios, sidewalks, outdoor summer kitchens, archways, entryways, and more. Braun Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY, BraunMackay.com. Beauty built to endure. All right, that is going to do it for us today. Don't forget, State House Happenings has dropped. If you haven't gotten enough Rob Kendall Show today, fastest 30 minutes in Indiana politics and government. Biggest stories of the week, we jam them into 30 minutes. Jim Merritt, Abdul, myself. Check it out now. It's on the videos tab on our YouTube page. Also, all the on-demand platforms. It should be available on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, all of the places. Please hit the thumbs up button before you go today. Tell a friend about us as well if you're feeling super generous. All right, that is going to do it for us today. You guys are awesome. You guys are amazing. Have a great rest of your day. We will see you tomorrow. For producer Jason, I'm Rob Kendall. You've been watching, you've been listening to Rob Kendall Show.